Wait till you hear.
I want to tell him.
I'm gonna.
You ain't either. I am.
You ain't.
I am.
You ain't.
Hold on, Jethro, you tell me.
Well, I forgot.
There's the king coming to stay at the Drysdale's house. King Alexander.
Yeah, now I remember. Let me tell him.
Well, I'm telling him.
You ain't.
I ain't.
Hold on now, Jethro, you tell me.
Well, it's a foreign-sounding name.
King Alexander of Sylvania.
Real live king, huh? No wonder they had so many folks over there fixing and cleaning.
Yeah, Miss Drysdale even hired us.
To do what?
Stay away.
Take that back to her and...
Hey, no, wait a minute, Uncle Jed. We can make a lot of money if you'll just play along.
What you mean?
Well, she said she'd double this. If we could keep you and Granny out of sight, too.
Good morning, Chief.
Good morning. Get someone to sit in for you. I want you to drive me to the yacht harbor. I'm meeting Margaret down there to pick up King Alexander.
How exciting. And you look so handsome. What is that medallion you're wearing?
Oh, that's Margaret's idea. She thought when I met the king I should be wearing a decoration.
It's very impressive. Where did she get it?
From my den. It's an ashtray. Watch it, Miss Hathaway. I'm up to here with this nobility business, and I haven't even met the royal jerk yet.
Chief, what about Ellie Mae? Your wife says King Alexander is one of the world's most eligible bachelors. Worldly, handsome, witty, charming.
Look, those things don't count when we're talking about a lifetime companion for my sweet little Ellie.
Well, naturally, he'd need other important qualities to make him a good husband.
Right, and he doesn't have them.
No?
Not a nickel.
That's not what I meant. But why do you say that?
Because I've checked every financial rating book here, and he isn't even listed.
Well, he probably has a secret Swiss bank account. Alexander is the last of the big-time monarchs, always at one resort or another, on a yacht somewhere.
Really?
Yes, I've read that he's worth billions.
Billions? Well, maybe he's a man of good character after all.
Good character or good credit?
There's a difference. Oh, Miss Hathaway, what if the king and Ellie Mae were to fall in love and there was a merger?
I believe you mean marriage.
Yes, we've got to introduce them right away.
But Chief, it will take time to teach Ellie enough protocol even to meet the king.
Sir Milburn Drysdale, banker to the Royal Majesties. Oh, with the king's billions and the Clampett's billions in my bank, I can wheel and deal with the big money boys. The Rockefellers, Baron Rothschild, Bing Crosby.
Mr. Drysdale?
Hello, Mr. Clampett.
Howdy, Miss Jane. I'm sorry to bother you, but it's about that king that's coming to visit you.
Not me, you.
Me?
And your family. I told him all about the Clampetts, and he wants to meet you right away.
Chief!
Well, doggy, think of that. Bunch of old sorghum lappers like us rubbing elbows with a real live king.
Oh, Chief!
Something wrong, Miss Jane?
Oh, she's just a little upset because we had planned to surprise you with him.
Oh, well, I reckon that explains the money.
Money?
Yeah, your missus wanted to pay the young'uns to stay away from your house whilst the king was there. I reckon she didn't want them to find out about the surprise.
Of course. And Big Mouth Milburn put his foot in it.
Both feet, and it's too late to pull them out.
Well, we'll have to be leaving to pick up the king. Now, you go home, and I'll have His Highness there in about an hour, and have Ellie in her nicest dress.
No more. Telephone call for His Royal Highness King Alexander of Sylvania.
Put the call in here. It's for you, Alex. Yes? Oh, thank you. My new host, Mr. and Mrs. Drysdale, just Robin.
Alex, why don't you stop being an international freeloader? If you settle down and apply yourself, you could be a first-class busboy.
I am a king, not a steward. I was supposed to be a guest on your yacht.
For the first 2 years, you were a guest. From then on, you pay for your passage.
I offered to pay. I have billions in my Swiss bank account.
You have billions of Sabellian gluttonies.
The currency of my country.
Why, this paper napkin is worth more than a gluttony. Wait a minute. It is a gluttony.
I ran short of napkins. The Drysdale are just here. Please go. Huh? Oh, excuse me. Can I borrow your coat?
All right.
Ah, thank you. I shall remember your kindness when my people return me to the throne of Siberia.
Oh, stop dreaming, Alex. You're down to sponging off bourgeois Beverly Hills bankers.
Yes, but they will know bourgeois Beverly Hills heiresses. I will marry one, and then, presto, the Gladney will again be worth something.
Well, they're worth something already. They make fabulous napkins.
Your Majesty!
Mr. and Mrs. Drysdale, you may rise.
Help me.
We are very honored to have you stay with us at our home, Your Money. Your Majesty.
Yes, Your Grace. We feel a great kinship to the aristocracy. I have very pure bloodlines, and of course Milburn is no stranger to nobility.
Oh, thank you. That's very thoughtful.
With your permission, we will proceed home now, Your Highness.
Help me. What a scene. Miss Hathaway will have to drive me home.
You bring His Highness in the limousine.
Of course, my dear. Excuse me, Your Highness. Speaking man to king, I've heard you're worth billions. Is that true?
Quite true.
Oh, really? Well, I know a family you must meet.
If you like. Oh. Shall we?
I'll take you to my home in a moment, Your Majesty, but first you must meet the Clampets.
It's a nice little place. Is there a Miss Clampett?
Yes, and I think you'll find her most unique. Not what you'd expect from the daughter of a multimillionaire.
Multi? Is that in dollars, drachmas, rubies, what?
Dollars. No, they're just one of my smaller accounts at the bank, 70 million or so.
70 million?
Of course, that's nothing compared to your assets.
Fortunately.
I beg pardon?
Fortunately, I have learned the common touch. I am looking forward to meeting Miss Clampett.
Oh, her name is Ellie.
Just purchased his company from home.
It ain't the same. Jethro says the kings wear gold crowns and fur-trimmed cakes and...
Come in, come in.
Come in, Your Highness.
I seem to have lost my money clip.
You see, he ain't nothing to get all boggled over.
You can say that again.
I look outside. May I present His Most Royal August Highness, King Alexander of Siberia.
Howdy, I'm Jed Clampett.
Mr. and Mrs. Clampett?
Oh, no, we ain't married.
Oh, but then you must be the beautiful lady I've heard so much about. Miss Clampett? Ellie, what an exquisite creature you are. Silver-haired beauty. Ellie.
Granny, he thinks you're Ellie. See something?
Oh.
In good time, Jed. All right. I ain't Ellie.
This here's Granny. Yonder's Ellie Mae.
Beauty begets beauty. The sun has given her light to the moon.
This here is the King of Siberia, Ellie.
Well, howdy, King.
Excuse me. Call me Bobo, all my friends do.
Okay, King Bobo.
Hey, where is he? Where's the king? Where is His Highness? What you doing here?
That's my nephew, Jethro. He got that outfit from a movie studio, special for you.
He looks positively ludicrous.
Well, thank you. He'll be pleased.
I couldn't find your money clip.
But he did.
I missed him. He's gone, and all that's left is his royal napkin holder.
You big dope, this here is His Highness.
Him? Gee, you sure don't look like the king in my big blue book of fairy tales. Anyway, my liege.
Well, let's all go in the parlor and get acquainted.
Hello, Miss Hathaway.
Chief, where have you been? Your wife has been phoning every 5 minutes since I took her home. She thinks you kidnapped King Alexander.
For once, she's right. And he couldn't have cared less about protocol when he saw Ellie Mae.
Well, I hope there's no language problem.
What do you mean? Those two can speak in a universal language.
You mean love?
Money.
Milburn?
Quick, lock the door.
Hello, Uncle Milby.
Doreen, what are you doing in town?
The question to be answered is, what have you done with His Highness?
I asked first, what is she doing here?
She's my niece, and I asked her to fly here and be King Alexander's companion during his visit.
Companion? What about getting married?
You are already married.
No. She no more. Poor little thing. She rushed into it before she was ready.
But I'm not bitter. Maybe my next husband will be Mr. Right.
7's my lucky number.
Leonard was number 7, dear. Now, what have you done with Alexander?
I think he's visiting friends.
I don't know what you're up to, Milburn. Probably something to do with his money. But Doreen is not going to let you out of her sight until she meets the king.
Right, Auntie Meg. I've never married royalty before.
Unless you count the Pancake King.
Stay right here, dear. I'm going to see if His Highness is in the basement.
Doreen, why don't you fix your makeup in there? You want to look your best when you meet the king.
Oh, I sure do. How's this for openers?
You always were a shy little thing. She'll wreck everything.
Howdy, Mr. Drysdale, Miss Jane. We done invited King Alexander to stay over with us for a while. And I got to get you to tell me where to pick up his suitcases.
Wonderful. Thank you. There.
I know who you are.
You do?
They're looking for you.
Yeah?
She thinks he's king. My name's Doreen. Can I be one of your friends and call you Bobo?
Shucks, you can call me Gatorface if you want to.
Bobo's okay.
Why don't we get out of here and go for a ride?
All right. I'll see you're dressed first.
You bet.
Let's go. Ain't nothing that turns a girl's head like a uniform.
Ah, Ellie Mae. Look at these hands. These little hands.
They is kind of small for a man.
You are driving me mad.
I am?
Believe me, you are. My sweet. My angel. Ah, Ellie Mae.
Hey, why you always kissing hands? Ain't you never heard of kissing on the lips?
Ellie.
Sorry, I hope I didn't hurt you.
Why did you do that?
Well, 'cause Granny said to when it's the first date, and it ain't a good night kiss.
Then it was not your idea.
Heck no, I like kissing. Mustn't disobey Granny.
Then your hand will do nicely.
Would you mind switching? This one's getting awfully chapped.
Well, here we are. This is the Drysdale place.
I thought you owned all sorts of fabulous sports cars.
Oh, no, just this one.
Thanks for the ride.
Yeah, now I'll pick you up right here for our date tonight.
But I thought you were staying here, too.
Oh, heck no. Already live next door.
Oh, that's a break. What are we going to be doing tonight?
Oh, I got some real big plans. We's gonna go frog hunting.
Frog hunting? But you're the king.
Yeah, I am pretty good at it.
Sure aren't what I expected. This truck and frog hunting tonight. And as for your famous wit, I've only seen half of it.
Thank you. I ain't even warmed up yet.
Well, till tonight.
Yeah, and where's some old shoes? Thank you.
Never seen the like yet. Best courting dinner I ever served up. And that king never touched a bite. How can any man pass up groundhog goulash, baked buzzard eggs, and minced crawdads? Well, maybe he just don't like rich food. Beginning to wonder about him. How can you trust a fella that don't like fricassee of barn owl?
I wouldn't fault the king, Granny. The way he tells it, all civilians has tetchy stomachs.
What you mean?
Well, he says nobody in his country eats very good. It's all suffering from something called, inflated gluttony.
Oh, thank you, Your Majesty. I heard you were staying, so I dropped by with your luggage.
I'm sorry that there is so much of it. I am carrying several suitcases full of currency.
Oh, really? Well, of course, with your kind of money, I suppose a suitcase full here and there doesn't amount to much, huh?
With my kind of money, you are absolutely right.
So if you're staying here, why don't you let me keep it for you at my bank?
Very well. Why don't you open an account for me with the money in these two, huh?
Wonderful. And do you want me to contact your Swiss bank for the balance?
Well, perhaps after Ellie and I are married.
You're getting married?
I am mad about her. Unfortunately, her enthusiasm for the idea does not equal mine.
Well, just how much enthusiasm does she have?
Roughly speaking, none.
She can't refuse you. You're the king of Siberia.
I know. But to use her exact words, she said, that don't cut no mustard with me.
Well, pardon me, Your Highness. Maybe it's because you're not acting enough like a king.
What?
Well, I mean, don't you have a uniform you can impress her with, a crown or a cape or something like that?
Of course, but do you think that will make much difference?
Oh, howdy, my liege. Mr. Drysdale, somebody left these suitcases on the front porch.
They belong to His Highness. Thank you, Jethro.
Well, thank you. That niece of yours sure took a shine to me. I don't know what done it. Either my uniform or my personal poise and magnetism.
Maybe it would help to wear my cape and crown.
Here we are, Miss Hathaway. King Alexander's first deposit.
In cash?
There must be $100,000 in each of these. He's got $3 billion more. Wait a minute. What's this stuff?
It's Siberian currency. King Alexander's a billionaire, all right, in gluttony.
Well, it must be convertible to dollars. Look it up in the exchange rate.
I am. Let's see. Francs, guilders, glutonies. Yes, they're worth 4 to the dollar.
Well, that's still almost $1 billion.
No, Chief, the rate is 4 tons of glutonies to the dollar. Wait, there's a footnote. This rate is good only during world paper shortages. The rest of the time, they're absolutely worthless. Chief! Oh, don't take it so hard. You're not out anything.
I may be out the Clampets. That royal thief is up there right now sweeping Ellie off her feet, and I told him how.
That's the gluttony.
Maybe we're not too late.
Ellie, I am a king. I offer you a life of complete luxury. Only the nobility will speak to you. They will call you Your Majesty. Silence. Servants will wait on you hand and foot. You will drink vintage wine and eat gourmet food. You will do no work. You will sleep till noon every day. You will lack for nothing. Now say you accept.
I'm sorry, King, but it sounds just awful.
You're refusing me?
Yes, Your Majesty.
But I ain't.
What?
I was listening to the whole thing, and boy, that's a lot for me. Hi, Doreen.
There's the king. He's the one that took me for the ride.
He took you for a ride, all right. That's Jethro. There's the real king. Your Majesty.
Doreen, I gotta break our date tonight. I'm going to Siberia to live a life of luxury.
Drysdale, madame, I'm afraid I must say goodbye. The yacht I came in is sailing in 2 hours.
Hot dog, I'll get packed.
But you can't leave. You haven't gotten to know Doreen yet.
Oh, forget it, Aunt Meg. I am going back to Boston. Jethro was bad enough, but this one looks like something out of the big blue book of fairy tales.
Doreen! Oh, forgive her, Your Majesty. She's really lovely and single.
Is she by any chance rich?
Well, she's gotten 7 divorce settlements.
Wait, mademoiselle, wait. I will make you my queen.
Well, this is the last of the court and dinner leftovers.
Ellie, hope you don't feel too bad about the king leaving and chasing back to Boston.
Well, heck no. I never did love him. And when he put on that crown and got so uppity, well, I didn't even like it.
Leastways, he said we could have his suitcases. I can hardly wait to see what's in them.
I already looked, and every one was filled with nothing but paper napkins.
But they're nice ones. Well, tuck 'em in and let's eat.
Good morning, Chief. What's this I hear about the children's zoo returning a gift?
Yeah, how about that? A baby hippopotamus worth thousands of dollars, and they sent it back.
Well, I don't understand.
Neither do I. You try to do something nice for the kids, give them some pleasure, a little advice.
Advice?
Well, I didn't give them just a plain hippo. I gave them a hippo with a message.
Chief, how could you?
Now, what's wrong with that? Kids don't read enough these days.
But to turn a baby hippopotamus into a signboard.
Oh, it's only water paint it washes right off. That way, I can change the message every few days.
Uncle Milby?
Well, Milburn Drysdale is kind of cold and formal. Uncle Milby's more the real me. Warm, generous, fun-loving.
Save your pennies in a pig or save them in a cup, but bring them to the Commerce Bank or I will eat you up.
Kids love rhymes.
Oh, but Chief, that's terrible.
Well, maybe I can think of something better.
No, I mean, the whole idea is thoroughly reprehensible.
What are you talking about? I'm entitled to get something for my money.
What money? You got this animal by foreclosing on a stranded circus.
Well, what's the difference? A kid would have loved him. 1 week, we could have painted nursery rhymes on him, like, Pussycat, pussycat, where have you went? To the Commerce Bank for 5%.
Your telephone's ringing.
Oh, keep thinking of some others. Maybe the zoo director will change his mind.
Don't you worry, little hippo. I'll wash this right off.
Now, Jethro, I don't want any more argument. I want a chicken pen, and I want it right up against Miss Drysdale's head.
Well, Miss Drysdale ain't gonna like it.
What she don't like, she can lump.
If I put the pen up against the hedge, some of the chickens will slip through and go to scratching up Miss Drysdale's flowers.
You think so?
Is you trying to provoke a scrap with Miss Drysdale?
Why, Jethro, she's my next-door neighbor. My dear friend. A lovely lady.
Well, I just hope you mean what... Hey, Granny? Hey, there's a real funny-looking critter next door.
Oh, out in the yard, is she?
I can't see too good, but it's big and fat and ugly and got a mouth like a gator.
That's my dear friend, all right.
Here, Granny, you look.
Was that your granny yelping or one of your critters?
Well, it sounded like Granny.
Ellie Mae, Ed, who is it complains when I tries to raise chickens in the back?
Miss Drysdale.
And who is it squawks when I tries to raise a cow?
Miss Drysdale.
And who is it screams to a high heaven when I try to run a goat or a sheep?
Granny, what are you getting at?
I'm getting at this. That spiteful woman has turned her backyard into a hog lot.
A hog lot?
Granny, Miss Drysdale wouldn't touch a hog with a 10-foot pole.
She's got one now that she better not try to touch without a 10-foot pole.
What you mean?
We raised us some big porkers back home in the hills. But this hog makes a razorback look like a ground squirrel. Come on, here. Come on. Is that a hog? Is that a hog?
That's a hog.
Biggest thing I ever did see.
When you yell suey at that rascal, you better not stand twixt him and a trough.
You know something? I don't think that's a big hog at all.
Shh. Don't mean mouth him, Ellie. I hate to get that hog riled.
I mean, he's something else.
Just better.
I wonder where Miss Drysdale got to hold him.
Ellie, run around the back door and ask her.
Granny, I think this critter come from Africa.
That must be someplace in Virginia.
Virginia?
Yeah, They raise awful big hogs there. Feed 'em on peanuts.
Well, there's a goober grabber if I ever seen one.
Real whopper.
Well, I still say this ain't no big hog.
What are you talking about, child? Why, that rascal is good for 300 yards of chitlins alone.
And would you look at them jowls?
Take a tub of turnip greens just to season them.
We gonna butcher him, Uncle Jed?
Well, he ain't ours to butcher, Jethro.
Oh, how I wish he was.
Well, I'm telling you, that critter ain't no butchering hog.
And I'm telling you, you're dead. That animal is standing on a pair of 200-pound hams.
And that bacon would fill a smokehouse.
Look at the size of them pig knuckles.
But listen, Ellie, you run ask Miss Drysdale where she got them. Like I told you.
And while you're at it, ask her, could we buy him off her?
But, Pa,
Every may do as you're told, time is a-wasting.
Uncle Jed, if you buy that rascal, we's gonna be eating high on the hog, sure enough.
High, low, and in between.
First thing I'm going to do is send one of them hams to Lee Summit, Missouri. That Willie Marr thinks she can cure a big ham.
Granny, can't you just send her a picture? Why, you'd be giving away 1,000 ham sandwiches.
No, Jethro. Missouri is the show-me state. They got to see it to believe it.
They could see this and still not believe it.
Granny, the maid says Miss Drysdale's back in Boston.
Do tell. What about the mister?
Well, he's down to the bank. Ain't nobody home but the maid, and she don't know nothing about this critter.
Well, nobody's home, huh? Jethro, instead of a chicken pen, you make me a hog pen. Ellie Mae, you...
Hog pen? Granny, you ain't fixing to bring this critter home.
Well, somebody's got to look after him, Jed. He's wasting away to skin and bones.
You leave him right there till I talk to Mr. Drysdale.
Well, suppose he don't want to sell him.
Well, then that's our tough luck. Come on, everybody.
Giddy up. Come on.
Granny, I said leave that hog here.
Jed, I'm doing everything I can to keep him here. I'm even sitting on him.
Chief, I just spoke with the director of the Children's Zoo. He absolutely will not permit bank commercials on his animals.
Then I say no more zoo commercials on our money.
Zoo commercials?
Yes, did you ever hear of the buffalo nickel? What about the eagle on the quarter?
Chief, you are sick.
You bet I am. Here's a great chance to educate our little tots. Will you tell them my nursery rhyme, my dear?
Yes, and he doesn't consider a pussycat, where have you went as educational.
But what about the second line? To the Commerce Bank for 5%. That's the educational part.
Give up.
I will not. I've got some brilliant stuff here. Listen to this. Peter, pumpkin eater, had a wife and couldn't keep her. Got along from Uncle Milby, now they always happy will be. Here's another one. Tom, the pauper's son.
That's the piper's son.
This kid is a pauper's son. Whose old man borrows money from the Commerce Bank and strikes it rich. Oh, now, here's a good one right here. Little Miss Muffet sat on a tuffet, figuring her interest rate. Along came a spider and sat down beside her and said, hey, this Commerce Bank is great. Wait. That may be the zoo director with a change of heart. Melvin Drysdale speaking.
I see somebody stuck there with a sick hog.
Sick hog?
Oh, he's in bad shape, Mr. Drysdale. His bristles have all fell out, and his tail has come on kink. Oh, I grant you he looks big and fat. But that's because he's a windsucker. All bloat. Take my word for it, Mr. Drysdale. That hog is dying of the epizootic.
Oh, Granny, you must mean the hippopotamus.
I mean the epizootic. Tell you what I'll do. I'll buy him from you, just for the hide and the tallow.
Mr. Drysdale, I hope you'll forgive Granny for trying to shuck you out of your hog. We'll call you back. Bye.
Come out of there, don't go on you.
What you doing, Granny?
Oh, hi, Jed.
Hi, what you doing?
Trying to get my rope out of the Drysdale's yard. It must have snagged on something like a root or a stump.
A hog.
A hog? Why, yeah. I'll bet you that's what happened. That poor starving critter Probably swallowed the other end of my rope, thinking it was a big stalk of sugar cane.
You think so?
Yeah. We gotta save him, Jed. Why don't you call Mr. Drysdale, see if you can make a deal with him for that poor, sick, miserable beast.
Granny, the other end of this rope is tied around that hog's neck.
Oh, it's worse than I thought. He's trying to hang himself.
Hang himself?
Yeah. Amongst hogs, that's known as suicide.
What you been whitewashing?
The chicken house.
We ain't got no chicken house.
Well, I guess I wasted my time. Now, please, Jed, don't call Mr. Drysdale.
I'm gonna untie that hog.
No, Jed, don't go. I'll do it. Please, Jed, don't go. Wait, Jed. Don't touch that hog. You'll get the epizootic, sure as shooting.
That hog ain't got the epizootic, and you know it.
Well, he's got something that's about to kill him.
Yeah, you.
Well, whatever gave you that crazy notion?
Well, let's say it's the way you got him whitewashed. I can understand you wanting this hog, but buy him off Mr. Drysdale fair and square.
All right, Jed, I will. After all, it's only money. You can't take it with you.
That's the spirit. Now, what do you figure is a fair offer?
Well, he's our next-door neighbor and our very dear friend. How about $1.25? All right, Jed. I'll go $1.30. But for that price, he's got to pull it through the hedge for me.
$1.30? Granny, that hog will weigh out at close to 1,000 pounds.
That's all hoof and hide. Why, dressed, I bet you he wouldn't go 20 pounds. I'll be lucky to break even.
Hey, Granny, give me my commission. I went around the neighborhood like you told me to and took orders on $200 worth of hog meat.
Hush. Folks is on the phone.
Pretty good price for 20 pounds, isn't it?
Well, you wouldn't begrudge a poor old widow a little profit, would you?
Mr. Drysdale? This here is Jed Clampett. Say, would you consider $200 for that hog?
$200!
That's a deal, then.
Thief with a rabbit!
Thank you, Mr. Drysdale. Bye. Granny, you can't take it with you.
Who's going anywhere? I'll have to put a lot of sawdust in my sausage to come out on that deal.
Granny, I told everybody...
You shut your big $200 mouth.
But, Granny, I told everybody you were going to come up with top-grade hickory smoked meat.
And you're right. I'm going to cut me a piece of hickory and I'm going to smoke your meat.
Come on, Harold. Wait's getting you away from here. Let's go.
Hey, Ellie, where you going with Granny's hog?
I'm taking him to the zoo because he ain't no hog.
Well, he better be a hog. I done sold $200 worth of that rascal, and I ain't even up to his spare ribs.
Well, this critter's what you call a hippopotamus.
Can you get $200 worth of bacon, pork chops, or country sausage from a hippopotamus?
No.
Then this is a hog.
No, it ain't. It's a hippopotamus.
Don't say that, Ellie. You're going to cost me a fortune. Look, I'll show you what my commission comes to on what I've sold up till now. Look at here. $200 worth of orders. Now, that's 2.0.0.0. Now, I get 5%. That's .05, and I put that under the .0 and times it. Let's see, 5 noughts is naught, 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 5 twos is 1, and a naught. Now, I just add that all up, and put down the knot. Well, I made me $1,000 commission.
On $200 worth of orders?
It looks like in the meat business, the money's in the selling. Hog, I'm going to get rich just selling your sausage.
There ain't gonna be no sausages because this here is a hippopotamus.
It might be a hippopotamus now, but it's coming out of that sausage grinder all.
No, it ain't.
Yes, it is.
It don't tie me down to... Ellie Mae, that hog ain't to be played with. Now, you take him around back to the trough.
But, Granny, this here's what you call a hippopotamus. That's a river horse.
He ain't no horse. Now do as I told him.
I mean, he likes water.
Good. Give him all he wants and a lot of dry corn. We'll fatten that rascal up to where he can't move. Come on, Jethro, drive me down to Mr. Drysdale's bank. I got to bargain him out of that $200 price.
But Uncle Jed said it was a deal.
I say it ain't. That city banker and me is going to do some hog haggling. Now get in.
Hey, Granny, Ellie will take our hog to the zoo.
Ellie's going to take him back to the trough like I told her.
But, Granny, listen.
Now you listen, child. That hog's hind leg is going to send me to my grave a famous woman. For years they'll be talking about the Daisy Moses Memorial Ham. Right on, Jethro?
Chief, the owner of the circus just called.
Oh, good. Did he get the bank commercial tattooed on my fat lady?
Of course not. He wants to know if you'll take a baby elephant off his hands.
No, I won't.
The Children's Zoo would love to have it.
They would, eh? Well, maybe we can work something out. Now, let's see. A nickel dropped into my trunkle. Draw 5% from sweet old uncle.
No, Chief, no. I have told you the Children's Zoo will not permit you to paint bank commercials on their animals.
Then they don't get the elephant. No more, Mr. Nice Guy.
Chief, listen, please. It seems that the baby hippo and the baby elephant were inseparable companions. And now the baby elephant is pining away for his friend. They should be together.
But how can they be? I just sold the hippo to the Clampetts. They think it's a big hog. Hey, wait a minute. Maybe I can tell them the elephant is a long-nosed calf.
Can we come in?
Granny, Jethro, how are you? How's that big hog?
He's too darn high. That's how he is. You hornswoggled Jed out of $200 when you sold him that puny hog.
Puny?
But you speak when you're spoke to. Now, you and me is going to do some hog haggling.
There's no need to, Granny. You can have him free.
Oh, no. I came here to haggle, and we's going to haggle. Now, you set a price, then I'll make an offer. Then we'll lock horns and go at it.
Granny, if he's willing...
You listen and learn, boy. I'll show you how it's done. All right, let her fly.
I'll sell you the hog for $50.
I'll give you 10.
40.
20.
30.
40.
40.
50, and that's my last offer.
Well, all right. So...
Adam, he don't know what hit him.
But Granny, he was going to sell you the hog for $30.
Didn't learn a thing, did you? I'll see if I got $50 in my reticule. You might have to carry me for part of it.
Oh, no problem. Oh, Granny, as long as we're dealing, how would you like to buy a long-nosed calf?
Oh, no, Chief. You are not going to sell her that.
But if she wants it?
No, I absolutely will not let you.
Jethro, you are now watching the oldest trick in the haggling business. You see, she, pretending that she wants the calf, is supposed to make me want it all the more. That's what they call chumming the sucker. Here's your money for the hog. We'll talk about the calf some other time, when your partner ain't around.
Well, I'll be right with you, Granny. Mr. Drysdale, I'm going to open up a big account with you. Yeah, I'm making money hand over fist.
Wonderful.
How you doing it, Jethro?
Well, selling meat on commission. I made $1,000 already today.
What kind of meat are you selling?
Oh, hickory smoked ham, bacon, chops, ribs, you name it, I got it.
Well, then, put me down for $50 with the bacon and ribs.
I'll take $20 worth.
Hot dog. 50 and 20. Naught, fetch down the naught. 5 and 2, fetch down the 7. Times dot, naught, 5. I done made another $350.
Jethro, when do we get the meat?
Oh, quick as Granny butchers that big hog you done sold her.
What did he say?
He said, quote, quick as Granny butchers that big hog you done sold her, unquote.
I thought that's what he said. I'd better get Mr. Clampett on the phone and tell him to stop Granny.
I'll say you'd better. And if anything happens to that hippo, Uncle Milby will be Uncle Mud.
Right the water, don't you, Harold? Granny's scared of it, so we safe in here.
Ellie Mae's drowning my hog. Jethro, jump in and pull him out. Give him mouth-to-mouth recitation.
I ain't getting close to them jowls till he's on a plate.
He won't tell Granny. He likes the water.
She done turned him into a pet.
Forget him, Jethro. By the time he gets out of the water, he'll be ruined. There ain't no market for soggy sausage.
Granny, how's the hog? Is he all right?
Oh, he's fine. He's fine. We just giving him a bath. I tell you what. I'll trade you my big, clean hog, even up, for your dirty little long-nosed calf.
It's a deal.
Chief, both those animals are going to the children's zoo. You promised.
Oh, well, all right. Back to Mr. Nice Guy.
Mr. Drysdale, I don't want to shame you in front of nobody, but that ain't no long-nosed calf.
Thank you, Granny.
But that zoo sure is getting a prize-winning hog.
Chief, I just spoke to the director of the children's zoo, and the truck is on its way.
Fine, fine.
The children are going to be charmed and delighted by these animals.
He's going to like these poems, too, Mr. Drysdale.
Poems?
Yeah, he's wrote a dandy on this critter. You can give my trunk a yank if you bring your folks to the Commerce Bank.
What is it, Granny?
What, Granny?
What are we having, Gran?
Spring tonic. Now line up and get in here and line up. You got to the count of 3. 3. I ought to double dose you for that.
Hey, I'm feeling frisky as a cold clover. I think I'll just pass up getting tonic this year.
Stay right where you are. Now, Ellie, where's your monkey? I want to test my batch.
Yeah, Ellie, get this ape away from me.
Oh, Bessie's got a crush on you, Jethro.
A crush? That's the craziest thing I ever heard of.
Yeah, as pretty as she is, she can do a lot better than you.
You just tell her to keep her old monkey paws to herself.
Quiet. I want to test my tonic.
Sure is working fast, Granny.
And I cut it with French water.
Chief, it's almost time for your luncheon date with Dr. Clyburn.
Oh, that's right. Remind me to forget my wallet so he'll have to pay.
Chief, you pulled that on him the last 3 times. It just isn't fair.
All right, all right. I'll take some money. We can go Dutch Street.
Just put the tonic down, Jethro, till Granny rounds up some employees.
Uncle Jed, I don't care if she did have a crock full left over. I sure wouldn't have told her to pass it out here at the bank.
Don't worry about it, boy.
Yeah, but you seen what it done to Bessie. Well, she's acting like her and me's engaged.
I know. That's the reason I switched Crocs on Granny.
What? Well, this looks just like spring tonic.
That ain't nothing but Granny's homemade root beer.
Hey, good thinking. And I'm dry as a biscuit.
Jethro!
Quiet, girls, quiet now. Here's the first one, and there's more on the way. Now, you wait here whilst we go tell Mr. Drysdale. Come on, Jed, you bring the tonic.
Jethro, I was hoping we could try some tonic together, but Granny says that there's a Bessie in your life who won't let you go for a minute.
Bessie? What the heck, Bob? Bessie's just a doggone Granny was right. As far as Bessie's concerned, we's engaged.
Now, Mr. Clampett, Granny, what can we do for you?
Well,
Say, that looks a little heavy. Let Miss Hathaway carry it.
Set it right here, Jed. You and your workers are in for a real treat, Mr. Drysdale.
Wonderful. You've been cooking again, Granny?
Oh, better than that, making medicine. This here is my spring tonic.
Oh, no, Granny, you shouldn't
Now,
have...
you don't have to thank me. You folks here at the bank are our best friends in this here town. All right, Jethro, run 'em in.
Mr. Clampett, you've got to stop Granny. The last time I took that stuff, I ended up in the hospital.
yeah, I remember. You strained your back trying to lug your wife across the threshold.
There's nothing to trouble with, Mr. Clampett. I shall never forget the effect it had on me last spring.
One at a time. The rest of you wait outside.
I know what Granny's spring tonic does to city folks, but you can stop worrying. All she's handing out there is root beer.
Well, that won't fool anyone.
It might. You see, I'm counting on a little wishful thinking from the girls and a whole lot of pride from Granny.
So, you want to be first, eh, honey?
Well, I heard what happened to Miss Hathaway last spring, so go, go, go. Gee, nothing's happening.
It ain't.
Oh, I think I'm feeling it.
Of course you are. Kick up your heels little.
Okay.
That's better. Next.
Now, hold it. I tell you, I have a luncheon appointment with Mr. Drysdale. I'm Dr. Roy Clyburn.
Yippee!
Hi, handsome.
Girls, wait until you taste that groovy tonic. Granny's a wizard.
Granny, that little hillbilly is making medicine again?
Is she ever? It's got the kick of a zombie. Funny thing, though. It tastes just like root beer. Well,
Uh-huh.
Dr. Clyburn.
So, Granny, you're at it again.
You ought to wait your turn, Roy. But seeing that you're a doctor, I'll give you professional courtesy.
I've just been waiting for a chance to catch you passing out that tonic.
Then you're in luck. Open wide.
What? That's all I need.
Roy, let me explain.
Let me explain. I have been trying to stop that little witch doctor's illegal practice of medicine ever since she came here, and I finally got a witness that can do it. Me.
But, Roy, please.
And let me tell you another reason I'm so happy this happened. Because at lunch today, when you forget your wallet, I won't be there to pay the check.
Hi, how much tonic did y'all pass out?
Just 2 doses. One girl and Dr. Clyburn.
And Miss Jane said to come back and pass the rest out later?
We wasn't thinking, Granny. It would be hard for him to tend to the banking business with all that high-powered tonic sloshing around inside of him.
Ellie, it's the best batch I ever made. Why, Dr. Clyburn put near flew out that office after he took it.
Hey, speaking of spring tonic, where's Bessie?
Oh, she's out back waiting for you to come home.
You mean that stuff ain't wore off yet?
Take a look.
Ellie Mae, tell her I ain't interested. Doggone!
Don't worry, Jethro. She'll get over it.
But that'll take hours. Them's my bananas.
Oh, here you are.
Oh, get out of my office, Milburn. I'm through talking. Granny is going to face charges for practicing and dispensing medicine without a license.
But that tonic she was passing out was root beer.
Good. That's another charge. Fraud.
Please, boy, let's talk about it over lunch. My treat. Well, there's no need to go out. I stopped on the way. American cheese on the bite.
That is my lunch.
Well, half of it is.
Out.
You can have the pickle.
I have patients waiting.
Granny's intentions are good. She's just a little unconventional.
Unconventional? She makes Baron von Frankenstein look like Dr. Spock.
You've always said that the medical profession is badly understaffed. And she just wants to help.
Well, she's going to by staying out of it. And the two of us are going to see to it that she does just that.
Two of you?
Myself and the judge.
Oh, no! Before I let you put that sweet little old account behind bars, I'll swallow every pill in this jar.
Help yourself. They're cotton balls.
Oh, please, Roy. Let Granny come down and watch you. See what modern medicine is like, and when she does, she'll know how far behind she is and quit of her own accord.
Absolutely not, Milburn.
All right. You forced me to do this. What are we? 12 stories up? Oh, this is going to make some very ugly headlines if you refuse me and they find a body lying down there.
Milburn. Now, wait. Don't do anything foolish. Don't jump.
Who's talking about jumping? It's your body they're going to find. Oh, Roy. Give it a chance. Let Granny come down and observe. I'm begging you.
Oh, stop. If you're that desperate, I'll think about it.
Thank you. Bless you. How can I ever show my gratitude, my appreciation?
Say, what about taking my half of the sandwich?
Granny, what y'all got up for?
Dr. Clyburn called. Wants me to come down to his office to talk medicine with him.
Yeah, Ellie told us, but how come the flowers and ribbons?
Jim, just 'cause I'm a physician don't mean I can forget I am a woman.
Well, which one you trying to be now?
Hasha!
Granny, here's your doctoring bag. Put in the vanilla extract like you said.
Perfume, too.
It ain't perfume. It's for making remedies to show Dr. Clyburn.
Is that what this roast chicken and homemade pumpkin pie is for?
Never mind. You and Ellie go get the truck and take me down to his office.
Yes, ma'am.
Granny, if I didn't know better, I'd swear you had your cap set for Dr. Clyburn.
Hogwash. This is nothing but a professional visit.
Now stop it and tell me why you're doing this. You never gave 2 hoots for Dr. Clyburn before.
Well, he never did a hoot for me. But now that he's calling me up and asking me down to his office and all, well, maybe we finally got something to hoot about.
He sure has done a turnaround.
That was an awful good batch of spring tonic he got a dose of.
Believe me, Granny, that tonic he took has nothing to do with it.
I probably should have had you down here long before this. I just hope it isn't too late.
Oh, it's never too late, Dr. Clyburn. Can I call you Roy?
Oh, Roy will be fine.
Dandy. Then you don't have to call me Dr. Granny. Just call me Granny. Or, Daisy.
Granny will be fine.
You know, I kind of thought that my tonic had something to do with you asking me here today. But Jed said he didn't think so.
Well, Jed was wrong. I've restrained myself for a long time, but after you tonicked me this morning, I knew I had to do something.
Always was a great little icebreaker.
I beg your pardon?
Oh, nothing. What's in there?
Oh, well, come on in. I'll show you. This is where I see most of my patients.
Uh-huh. What's that music?
Oh, it's background for relaxing.
Well, first let's get to know one another better, and then we can dance.
That smell. It's like vanilla.
It's vanilla extract. I even got it behind my ears.
Oh? Well, would you like to wash out?
Ain't you the kidder? Well, I'm glad to see you ain't again taking a little nip now and then, Roy.
Oh, I wouldn't drink that stuff. Why, that'll make you blind.
Well, I grant you gotta know when you've had enough.
Let's get down to business.
All right.
With the equipment and instruments I keep in this office, I can perform many types of minor operations.
All right, then. Let's see you start carving this chicken. And after we've eaten, we'll see about that dance.
Come on and drink some more catnip tea now. It'll work again the tonic.
Hey, you heard from Granny?
Well, no, sir, Paul. I've been keeping Bessie company. She's still pining for Jethro.
Well, that's too bad.
Yeah, and the worst part is, well, he's been treating her just like an animal.
Yeah, well, Ellie, Bessie is an animal, and she better start forgetting about Jethro. I'm sorry, Bessie. Oh, hello? Well, Granny, how you doing down there?
You gotta pick me up here at Dr. Clyburn's office right away.
He ain't made no improper advances to you, has he?
He ain't even made a proper one. I thought at first my tonic wasn't working. But the trouble is, he's too worried to think of romance.
Worried about what?
He's failing in his profession. In the 2 hours I've been here, he ain't had one patient. No. And all that time, he's been trying his heart out to convince me he's a good doctor. How? Well, telling me how good trained he is and how modern doctors need all this fancy equipment like he's got. And he's coming now. I gotta hang up now.
Here we are, Granny.
Won't you even have a little piece of pie, Roy?
No, Granny. Now, this is an electrocardiograph. Can't do a really complete physical examination without one.
Oh, that's nice, Roy. I'll bet you could give a dandy examination with that. You ever had a patient?
This costs $1,300, and what you've seen is only a sample of the modern equipment that I have here.
I ain't never seen so much stuff. Too bad there ain't nobody around to try it out on.
Yes? Who? Oh, now, didn't you tell her that this was my afternoon? All right, have her go into room B. Yes. I'm sorry, Granny, I didn't expect this, but I have a patient.
Oh, praise be. Don't get excited.
Oh, she's very influential in society, but the worst kind of a hypochondriac. Come along while I get her x-ray.
Doctor?
Go right in, Mr. Longpray.
I'm Dr. Granny. I'm helping Dr. Clyburn.
Good. Perhaps you can do something for me. He doesn't seem to take a proper interest in my case.
And I think I know why. Before you come in, he described you as the worst kind of a hypochondriac. I'm going to help you. In my practice of medicine, it don't matter what religion you are.
I beg your pardon.
Now, what's your complaint?
Well, it's rather general. I'm a little short of breath. I can't sleep.
Stop right there. I can tell the rest by looking at you. First off, that corset's too tight. Get rid of it. Let the blood percolate. And them shoes are too small. Try some practical ones. And them hands. How long has it been since them hands done any work around the house?
I have 8 servants. I don't need to work.
Yes, you do. And the sooner, the better. Now, you go on. Try scrubbing the floor, washing the walls, and you'll sleep, believe me. Now, walk. And don't ride. Take them shoes off and walk home. Go on. And cut the stays in that corset.
Mrs. DeLongpray just left here in a rage. You were supposed to be with me. What did you say to her?
Nothing. Just that her corset and her shoes were a little too snug. She was mad.
Mad? She said she'd personally see that I lost every patient I had.
Well, look on the bright side, Roy. You ain't got too many to lose.
Granny, you'd better leave. I think I'm getting a little faint.
You must be hungry. Have some chicken. And maybe you better have a piece of pie, too. And then he sort of let out a yell and smashed my pie.
Well, you did lose his last patient for him.
Yeah. Plus, it must be awful. Seeing something you put so much into, your whole livelihood going down the drain.
He has had an awful run of bad luck lately.
Yeah. And then, too, this ain't exactly the hand of a natural-born healer.
Well, that's probably why he had you to come down there, to give him help. I bet you didn't care nothing about romancing you.
Who asked you?
Anyway, we gotta help Dr. Clyburn. We gotta figure out a way to get him some patients. Jethro, you thought of anything yet?
It's just a matter of time, Uncle Jet. I got my giant brain and 6 grades worth of education working on it.
Yeah. Well, in the meantime, I think I know a way Dr. Clyburn can get the jump on them other Beverly Hills doctors.
Well, how, Paul?
By doing something none of the rest of them have thought of yet. Advertising.
Good idea, Jim.
What is it, Roy? What was that message about coming right over? Some emergency?
Granny called to have me watching television at this hour. Said she had a surprise for me.
Oh, that sounds bad. What is it?
I don't know. I'm almost out of tranquilizer.
Here's Granny.
All right. Is it working? Are we on? Howdy there. This is Dr. Granny telling you there's one other first-class physician in Beverly Hills, Dr. Roy Clyburn, the healer with a heart. I want to show you a typical Clyburn cure. Here's a man afore seeing Dr. Roy Clyburn, tired, run down, feeling poorly. Now, here's the same man after seeing Dr. Clyburn. Vigor restored, full of the dickens, a satisfied customer. Now I want you to all go down to the Beverly Crestview Medical Building and give this man your business. He's really up against it. And here's a special offer. To the first 50 folks, a dose of my own spring tonic. All right, get your poor old Roy some patience, nothing will. I can't turn it on. It ain't, huh?
Well, thanks for having us over, Roy. The only way you will leave this room is through that window.
But you're on the medical board. They know you wouldn't advertise.
Who cares about them? I'll never have another patient once this gets around.
Roy, I'll use you.
Milburn, you'll need me.
Where's Dr. Granny?
Dr. Granny has retired permanently.
Oh, I wanted to thank her. I decided to take her orders, and after I'd walked home and scrubbed some floors, I took a nap and slept like a baby. I liberated myself from top to bottom. No more girdle. And look at my new shoes. I must be getting back to the charity bazaar. Everybody in Beverly Hills is there.
Everybody? Then they didn't see the commercial.
I'm telling them all about Granny's firm approach to medicine. I hope you are going to keep up her fine work.
You bet I am. And the next time you come here, I want to see 5 pounds off those hips.
Oh, thank you, Doctor.
It's a nice feeling to help somebody out, ain't it, family?
It is.
Yeah. I feel so good, I'm going to up and take Bessie for a ride.
Well, she may not want to go, Jethro. She's over that spring tonic.
Tonic or no, I ain't going to be turned down by no ape. Come on, Bessie, I'll take you for a ride.
Looks like Bessie has finally gotten over her crush on Jethro.
Yeah, but now what are you going to do about him?
There she is, Granny, just like back home.
Yeah, ain't it beautiful? Why can't we have it up all year round?
Now, you know Miss Drysdale wouldn't hold still for that. She claims to give the neighborhood a black eye.
I'd like to give the neighborhood a black eye, commencing with her.
Now, let's just be glad she's out of town for a spell and enjoy it while we can.
You're gonna get me a goat and some pigs and chickens, ain't you?
Everything you're homesick for.
Now, I want my soap kettle over there. And you can string me a clothesline from that corner post over there.
Wow, Granny! Miss Jane just drove in the gate with Mr. and Miss Flat and Mr. Scruggs.
Land sakes, they're early. My company riddles ain't ready yet. I gotta dice me some shad gizzards from a fish head stew.
Now, Granny, don't jump your traces.
Ellie, you go grate me some parsnips and some onions from a goat cheese dip. And some turnips for the dessert.
Granny, you know Lester and Earl don't expect all this. They's home folks.
Yeah, but Gladys is with them. And she's a city woman and a movie star. Why, I bet you she has goat cheese dip and turnip ice cream every day.
Did you say Miss Flat is a movie star?
Not yet, Ellie. She's making what they call a screen test over to my studio.
Well, aren't you coming in, darling?
No, Lester. Miss Hathaway's going to drive me right to the studio for wardrobe fittings.
You're both going to miss Granny's victuals.
Yeah. Actually, I'm sure she's much too nervous to eat right now. That's true.
Well, good luck, darling.
Thank you. And I really do appreciate this, Lester.
No more than you deserve.
I promise you this. If my screen test isn't a success, I'll be content to go back to Tennessee and be just plain everyday Mrs. Lester Flat, housewife.
Fair enough.
And if it is a success, we'll all be watching you on the screen as Gladys Delovely, movie star.
Wish me luck. Bye-bye.
Bye.
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 Lester, did she say Gladys Delovely?
Yeah, that's a name one of those publicity fellas made up.
I kind of hope she don't get famous.
What do you mean?
Well, folks might go to calling you by her name. I don't know how that'd sit back in Tennessee. Lester Delovely and Earl Scruggs.
You ain't got nothing to worry about. That screen test ain't gonna make Gladys a movie star.
I wouldn't be too sure. She's awful pretty, sings a fine song. She's got a lot going for her.
Yeah, and I got a lot of going for me, too.
Like what?
Like she don't know it, but I've arranged for Jethro to direct her.
Jethro, what you doing with the fancy funnel? Oh, this here's what you call a megaphone. You haul it through it. You going to a hog calling? Oh, no, sir. I'm going over to your movie studio and direct Miss Flatt's screen test. Oh, I changed my name. CB to Bodine. You can call me CB.
Thanks. Miss Flatt asked for you, did she?
Oh, no, sir. Mr. Flatt did. He wants to surprise his wife.
I just might do it. Come in.
Hi, Jen.
Howdy, Jen.
Howdy, boys. Welcome, welcome. Where's Gladys?
She went right over to the studio.
Hi, Mr. Flatt. Mr. Scruggs. I'm all set to direct.
Well, good, good. Now, remember, Jethro.
Call me CB.
Remember, CB, I'm counting on you to direct every move Gladys makes.
Don't you worry, Mr. Flatt. When I get done with your wife, she's going to be what they call a finished actress.
That'll do it. Miss Flatt, if you'd like to relax for a couple of minutes, we'll let you stand in.
Oh, I didn't know I had a stand-in.
Oh, yes.
I have volunteered.
Well, thank you, Miss Hathaway.
My pleasure. It seems the critical lighting areas are the blonde hair and the blue gown.
Oh, well, fine. Then you can certainly fill my shoes.
Your shoes, yes.
All right. Hey, where's the makeup man that done this to Miss Flatt?
What do you think you're doing?
I'm trying to save what's left of this beautiful woman. Hey, turn off them hot lights. You done melted her down to skin and bone. Don't worry, ma'am. You won't have to go home in that condition. I said to turn out them lights. You done ruined her figure.
Jethro, the lights have nothing to do with her figure. She's a stand-in.
She is a cave-in. Somebody better get busy and put her back the way they found her. I'm telling you, fellas, if her husband sees her, somebody's going to Knuckle City.
Jethro?
Oh, hell, no, that's more like it. I told you not to worry. All right, now, go out on the set. This is your director, CV to Bodine speaking. Now, when I say action, I don't want nobody to move. I want you to get it on. Move, get out.
You wouldn't pull my leg, would you?
No, ma'am, I'm the director. I'm the director. Let's have the leg puller over here. Call me CB, ma'am.
You're not serious about directing my test, are you?
Oh, yes, ma'am. Your husband wants you to have the very best. I weren't supposed to tell you it was his idea. He wanted to surprise you.
I can't believe Lester would do this.
Oh, yes, ma'am. He loves you a heap. All right, now. Down to them marks. Unpack them grips. Move the broads over with the babies and get rid of the ginger.
Gladys,
can't we talk him out of this?
I doubt it, but maybe you can sing him out of it.
What do you mean?
Hey, what's going on here? Oh, howdy, Miss Jane.
Oh, greetings, CB. Gladys was just telling us how moved she is to have you as her director.
I could cry.
Oh, shucks.
Jethro, I want you to sit right over here while I sing to you.
Oh, but generally, the director sits over next to the camera and yells at the actors.
Yes, I know, but I want you to speak to me with your eyes. Direct me with your expression. Inspire me with your nearness.
Roll a tape. No slate. Let's have the music.
I love the looks of you, the lure of you, the sweet of you, the pure of you, the eyes, the arms, the mouth, the east, west, north, and the south of you. I'd like to gain complete control of you and handle even the heart and soul of you. So love at least a small percent of me do, 'cause I love all of you. I'd love to gain complete control of you and handle the heart and soul 'cause I love
That's okay, cut, print, and throw some water on our director.
Hot corn, cold corn, bring along a Davy John. A hot corn, cold corn, bring along a Davy John. A hot corn, cold corn, bring along a Davy John. Farewell, Uncle Bill, see you in the morning. Yes, sir. Upstairs, down in the kitchen. Bill just a raring in a pigeon. Yes, sir. Hot corn, cold corn, bring along a Davy John. Hot corn, cold corn, bring along a Davy John. Hot corn, cold corn, bring along a Davy John. Farewell, Uncle Bill, see you in the morning. Yes, sir.
Boys, you never sounded better.
You deserve another helping of fish head stew.
Albay Clampett speaking. Why, sure is. Just a minute. Mr. Flat, it's your wife calling from the studio.
Why don't you talk to her?
Why me?
Well, she talks to me all the time.
Not like she's going to talk to you now.
Hello, darling. How'd the screen test go?
Just marvelous, Lester.
Well, what did you say? Marvelous. Well, didn't Jeff... who directed it?
My director's right here. I'll put him on.
I done it for you, Mr. Flat.
Thank you, Jethro.
Just call me the star maker.
Oh, honey, here's my stand-in.
Congratulations. Your wife was just great. Of course, the verdict won't be official until the film is processed, but that'll only take 3 days.
Honey, let's move into the best hotel in Beverly Hills and make this next 3 days our second honeymoon. Lester? Lester? Hello?
Want me to hang up the phone, Mr. Flat? Mr. Flat?
See if he answers to Mr. Delovely.
We're going to spend 3 days here?
Longer if you want.
How do you like it, Gladys? Are you happy?
Happy isn't the word, Granny.
It's just as nice inside. Come on in.
This is Henrietta, Mrs. Flat. She likes to roost on the foot of your bed, and in the morning she'll lay a nice fresh egg right on your pillow.
Thank you, Willie Mae.
I didn't realize things would be this bad, Gladys. No lights, no running water, pigs under the house, chickens on the bed. But don't you worry. If things get too rough, you just tell me. We'll hop the first plane back to Nashville.
Gladys, you'll never be able to stand this. That chicken will be squawking all night.
He sure will, when I get through with him.
Him?
We'll see who chickens first. Henrietta or Lester?
You got to admit, Jed, Lester and me was right.
She does appear to be happy in that little cabin. Howdy, Jethro. Hi.
That woman has took to country living like a duck takes to water.
Yes, you can't learn fast enough. How to milk a goat, how to grind corn.
How to make soap, how to do a washing outside.
How to stir off sorghum.
How to make hoe cakes and hominy grits.
Lester?
Gladys, put down that axe. I'm husking fresh shucks for that mattress just as fast as I can.
I just want you to chop some wood for the fire under my kettle.
I done chopped a whole cord.
Oh, well, darling, I'm sorry, but it takes a lot of wood to boil your clothes.
Boil my clothes? Gladys, what are you doing?
Granny said this is a way to get clothes clean country style.
Gladys, is this my red jacket?
No, that's your white jacket, Lester. Your red jacket's on the bottom. Now, hurry up and chop the wood, sweetie. And I want you to grind some corn so I can make some hoe cake and grits.
Honey, you don't know how to cook.
I've got 3 whole days to learn. Isn't it a beautiful night, Lester?
I wouldn't know.
It is. The air is full of romance.
That's smoke.
Oh, honey, forget that old fire. Let's dance.
Dance?
Yes, after all, it's our second honeymoon. I don't think you love me anymore.
Why, sure I do, honey. But I done shucked 8 bushels of corn, chopped 4 cords of wood, and ground a whole barrel of meal and chased that goat pretty near to town and back. I'm beat.
But, Lester, this is only Wednesday. What's going to happen by Friday?
You might be a widow.
Well, now on Monday I'm your darling. On Tuesday I'm your baby. But on Wednesday you don't get around to me. I don't want a part-time lover. Can't take a part-time lover. Won't have a part-time lover, no siree. I need your hugging. I need your kissing. It's your hugging and your kissing I've been missing. Now if I'm not your one and only, I'd rather go on feeling lonely till the day the right one comes my way. I must refuse a part-time lover. Can't use a part-time lover. Gotta have a full-time lover every day.
Morning, everybody.
Morning, Earl.
Well, there's Lester's friend. I heard you two running around last night.
Ellie Mae, get that critter out of here. The kitchen ain't no place for a goat.
Yes, ma'am. Oh, I'll take her up to my bedroom till she gets to feeling better.
I mean, put her at... No, well, sit down, Earl.
You kind of duded up for breakfast, ain't you?
Lester and me's supposed to have some publicity pictures taken. Has anybody seen the honeymooner this morning?
He must be up. I heard him chopping wood at the crack of dawn.
Chopping wood, huh?
He must have got his second wind. What happened to your jacket?
Gladys boiled it.
Boiled your jacket?
Yeah, that ain't nothing. Look at this.
How come your shirt and your pants ain't shrunk?
I slept in them.
What for?
I had to have something between me and that corn shuck mattress.
Well, don't worry about the publicity pictures. We can wear white coats.
This is my white coat.
Sit down, Lester, and have some breakfast.
No, thank you, Granny. I had one of Gladys's hoe cakes first thing this morning.
Well, that ain't enough to hold a man that was chopping wood at the crack of dawn.
I wasn't chopping wood. I was trying to slice that hoe cake.
Well, if it was so hard, what did you eat it for?
I had to have something to get the taste of her grits out of my mouth. You can gravel a walk with them things.
Let me take your jacket, Lester. Maybe I can help it some.
You sure can't hurt it, son.
Come on, Lester, sit down and have some coffee.
What are you staring at, Earl?
Them bags under your eyes. Ain't nobody gonna call you Mr. Delovely today.
You look mighty wrung out.
I'll be honest with you, boys. I'm so tired I couldn't yell suey if the pigs had me down.
You think you can take 2 more days of the joys of country living?
No, I don't, but there's one consolation. Neither can Gladys. That woman's got to be dead on her feet.
Well, if she is, she sure makes a fine-looking corpse.
Good morning.
Morning, Gladys.
Come on, Lester, let's go for a swim.
Oh, it's too cold to swim.
Oh, no, it's not. I just did 30 lengths of the pool, and it's wonderful. It's so exhilarating. Come on.
Gladys saying, but one thing would get me in the water this morning, and I've already been baptized.
Oh, Lester, come on. I'll teach you the Australian crawl.
He's just barely able to do the Tennessee limp.
Are you sure you won't come swimming with me?
I better not, honey.
Well, I'm going to swim another 30 lengths, and then I'm going to play some tennis, and then I'm going for a long walk with Ellie. And when I get back, let's all have a square dance. Oh, swing your partner, don't you?
Poor woman, little does she know she's only got 2 more days to live.
Now stop worrying about your clothes, fellas. These'll be great publicity pictures.
Yeah, Lester, you fill out Jethro's clothes pretty good.
That's more than you do for Ellie's.
Okay, fellas, now give me a fast chorus or something, and I'll snap some candid shots while you're playing.
Hey, mister, hey, would you like to take some pictures of Hollywood's greatest star maker? Sure. Fire away. You? In sophisticated showbiz circles, I is known as the high hog at the trough.
I thought it was going to take 3 days.
The lab worked all night and got the film processed.
And it was good, huh?
Great. Gladys! Congratulations. The test is a success, and they have a contract ready for you to sign.
Oh,
I give up, honey. We'll get a place and settle down in Hollywood.
no, we won't. We're going to take the first plane back to Nashville.
But you can be Gladys Delovely.
And he can be Lester Delovely.
I've changed my mind about being a movie star. I just want to be this man's wife.
Gladys, I ain't one to thump a free melon, but how come?
Well, I never realized how much you love me, Lester. Any man that can eat my horrible hoe cake and not complain.
I've eaten worse things.
You have?
Yeah, your grits.
Why so gloomy, dear boy?
They're taking my Cinderella back to Nashville.
Cheer up, Star Maker.
Now, where am I going to find me another one of... Miss Jane, let me hear you say, I want the east, west, north, and the south of you.
I want the east, west, north, and the south of you.
Come on, we're going to make a screen test.
Me, Jethro?
You won't believe this. When I started to work on her, she didn't look one bit better than you.
Now if I'm not your one and only,
I'd rather go on feeling lonely till the day the right one comes my way.
I still remember the precise feeling that washed over me the first time I watched this particular stretch of the Beverly Hillbillies. It was a late afternoon in the mid-1960s, the kind of soft golden light that used to spill through the living room curtains of my childhood home, and the black and white set was already humming with that familiar theme song. Even then, before I understood half the jokes about class or credit ratings. I felt something shift in the room the moment Jethro and the others began arguing over who would be the one to break the news. That childish squabble, I wanna tell him, I'm gonna, you ain't either. I am. You ain't still plays in my mind with the clarity of a favorite family story retold at every holiday. There is something so pure, so unself-consciously comic in the way the Clamperts treat a royal visit as if it were the arrival of a distant cousin from the next holler. I have returned to this episode countless times over the decades, and each viewing deepens the affection rather than dulls it. What once made me laugh until my sides ached now comforts me in a quieter way, reminding me of a world where wonder and confusion could coexist without bitterness. The scene opens in that unmistakable Clampett cadence. Jethro is determined to be the bearer of momentous news, yet his memory fails him at the crucial moment. There's a king coming to stay at the Drysdale house. He manages only to forget the name. Jed, ever the patient patriarch, waits with that gentle, half-smiling patience Buddy Ebsen perfected. When the name finally surfaces, King Alexander of Sabalia, the syllables themselves become part of the joke. In the transcript, the name keeps shifting: Subway, Siberia, Sabella, Seville. Those slips are not mere transcription errors. They capture the Clamperts' honest struggle with foreign grandeur. To a family whose world once ended at the creek and the ridge, a king is almost mythical. I can still hear my own younger self echoing Jethro's awe, a real-life king, ha. The wonder is genuine, untainted by the cynicism that would later color so much of American comedy. Mrs. Drysdale's attempt to keep the Clamperts out of sight is pure Drysdale calculation. She has hired the young ones to stay away, doubling the pay if Granny and Jed can also be kept from the premises. The plan collapses the moment Milburn opens his big mouth. Big mouth Milburn put his foot in it, both feet, and it's too late to pull them out. That line still makes me smile with recognition. Mr. Drysdale is never more himself than when his schemes unravel through his own inability to stay silent. Nancy Culp's Miss Hathaway, ever the loyal secretary, tries to smooth the edges, but the damage is done. The Clamperts are going to meet the king whether the Drysdales wish it or not. Watching this as a child, I felt a secret satisfaction. The Hillbillies were never going to be hidden away. Their presence was too large, too honest to be managed by Beverly Hills protocol. Then comes the yacht sequence, one of the sharpest pieces of satire in the entire series. King Alexander, played with silky desperation by Jacques Bergerac, is revealed not as a monarch in exile but as an international freeloader. The exchange with the yacht owner is merciless and hilarious. Why don't you stop being an international freeloader? If you'd settle down and apply yourself, you could be a first-class busboy. The king's indignant reply, "I am a king, not a steward," collapses under the weight of reality. His Swiss bank account holds billions of Sabalian glotnies, a currency so worthless that the yacht owner has been using the notes as napkins. Why this paper napkin is worth more than a glotny? Wait a minute, it is a glotny. That single revelation still delights me. In an era when Americans were increasingly aware of international finance and the fragility of distant currencies, the joke landed with perfect timing. The king's grand pretensions are reduced to paper napkins and the audience is invited to laugh without cruelty. I have always loved how the show refuses to mock the Clamperts for their poverty of formal education while freely exposing the emptiness of false aristocracy. When the king finally arrives at the Drysdale home, the physical comedy escalates. Mrs. Drysdale is in full aristocratic mode, speaking of pure bloodlines and kinship with nobility. Milburn, meanwhile, is already calculating the merger of royal billions with Clampert oil money. With the king's billions and the Clamperts' billions in my bank, I can wheel and deal with the big money boys, the Rockefellers, Baron Rothschild. The names roll off his tongue like a prayer to Mammon. Raymond Bailey's performance here is a masterclass in comic greed. His eyes light up at the mere mention of Swiss accounts, his body leans forward as if he might physically grasp the fortune. Yet the script never lets him become purely villainous. There is always a touch of the absurd about Mr. Drysdale's ambitions, a reminder that Beverly Hills excess is itself a kind of folk comedy. The transfer to the Clampert mansion is handled with the show's characteristic generosity of spirit. Miss Hathaway is dispatched to prepare the family. Jed's reaction is pure Jed, bunch of old sorghum lappers like us, rubbing elbows with a real live king. Buddy Ebsen delivers the line with that soft, wonderstruck drawl that somehow contains both humility and quiet pride. He does not feel inferior, he simply finds the situation remarkable. That balance is one of the reasons I have never stopped loving this series. The Clamperts are never ashamed of who they are and the audience is never invited to feel superior to them. The actual presentation of the king is a cascade of mistaken identities and physical farce. The king, having lost his money clip, or so he claims, is ushered in by Jethro, who has outfitted himself in what he believes is appropriate royal attire borrowed from a movie studio. He looks positively ludicrous, the king observes, and Jethro, misunderstanding, takes it as a compliment. Max Baer Jr. plays the moment with perfect wide-eyed sincerity, then comes the introduction itself. The king, seeing Granny first, assumes she is the celebrated Ellie Mae. "What an exquisite creature you are, silver-haired beauty." Granny's deadpan response, "I ain't Ellie. This here's Granny, yonder's Ellie Mae," is pure Irene Ryan gold. The timing is exquisite, the pause, the correction, the complete lack of offense. In that instant, the entire premise of royal protocol is gently dismantled. Beauty, the king declares, begets beauty, and the sun has given her light to the moon. The poetic flourish is undercut by the practical reality of the Clampert parlor. I have always been moved by how the family treats the king. There is no bowing and scraping, no desperate attempt to impress. Jed simply says, "Hi, I'm Jed Clampert." The informality is not rudeness, it is the natural extension of a moral code that values people over titles. When Jethro invites the king to call him Bobo and the king, ever adaptable, accepts the nickname, the scene becomes a quiet statement about the permeability of social barriers. In the middle of the 1960s, with its upheavals of class and culture, the Beverly Hillbillies offered a vision of hospitality that required no translation. You feed the guest, you offer him a chair, you treat him as company from home, the rest will sort itself out. Looking back now, I realize how much of my own sense of home was shaped by these early moments. The Clampett mansion with its cement pond and its mismatched grandeur became a kind of emotional landmark. Whenever life felt too complicated, too full of people performing their importance, I could return to Jed's calm voice and Granny's fierce loyalty and feel the world right itself. The arrival of King Alexander is not merely the setup for a series of jokes about worthless currency and mismatched romance. It is the reaffirmation of a deeper truth the series never abandoned, that genuine worth has nothing to do with crowns or Swiss accounts. It has to do with the willingness to say hi without calculation, to offer a meal without pretension, and to recognize a fellow human being even when he arrives wrapped in the tatters of vanished glory. The yacht owner's final dismissal of the king, "You're down to sponging off bourgeois Beverly Hills bankers," stings with accuracy, yet the show softens the blow by allowing the king a moment of genuine longing. He still dreams of restoration. That small humanity keeps the character from becoming a pure caricature. Bergerac plays him with just enough wounded dignity that we understand why the Drysdales are temporarily fooled and why the Clampetts, in their uncomplicated way, simply accept him as a visitor who needs a place to stay. As the first act draws to its close with the king installed in the Clampett household and the various romantic and financial schemes already beginning to tangle, I find myself once again grateful for the particular magic of this series. It never needed to raise its voice. The laughter rose naturally from the collision of two worlds, neither of which was held up as superior. The Clampetts remained the moral center, not because they were perfect, but because they were consistent. In a decade that was rapidly losing its innocence, they offered a reminder that kindness and common sense could still navigate even the most absurd situations. I have watched this opening sequence more times than I can count. Each time the same quiet joy returns, the argument over who will tell Jed. The forgotten name, the medallion that is really an ashtray, the paper napkins that once were currency, the silver-haired beauty who turns out to be Granny. These details have become part of my inner landscape, as familiar and as comforting as the sound of rain on an old tin roof. They remind me that comedy at its best is a form of love, love for the characters, love for the audience, love for the messy, hopeful business of being human in a world that keeps trying to sort us into kings and commoners. The Beverly Hillbillies never accepted that sorting. And neither in the end do I. There are moments in the long history of the Beverly Hillbillies that feel less like scripted comedy and more like private jokes shared between the show and those of us who grew up inside its world. The gluttony sequence belongs to that rare category. I can still picture myself as a boy sitting cross-legged on the living room carpet, eyes fixed on the screen as the yacht owner held up a crumpled piece of paper and declared almost in wonder that the napkin in his hand was worth more than a Sabalian gluttony, only to realize a beat later that the napkin was itself a gluttony. The laughter that erupted from me then was pure and unguarded. Decades later, the same exchange still draws a soft, grateful smile. It is comedy of the highest order, economical, merciless and oddly tender toward its target. King Alexander of Sabalia arrives in Beverly Hills trailing the last tatters of a vanished grandeur. Jacques Bergerac invests the role with a silky, slightly bruised dignity that never quite collapses into farce. When the yacht owner confronts him, "Why don't you stop being an international freeloader? If you'd settle down and apply yourself, you could be a first-class busboy," the king's reply is pure injured majesty. "I'm a king, not a steward." The line is delivered with the careful enunciation of a man who has practiced royal bearing long after the throne itself has disappeared. Yet the script immediately undercuts the pose. The Swiss bank account that was supposed to underwrite his dignity contains only billions of Sabalian gluttonies, a currency so thoroughly devalued that the yacht's supply of paper napkins has been quietly supplemented by the royal treasury. "I run short of napkins," the king admits. And in that single confession the entire edifice of pretension gently folds. I have always loved how the show handles this revelation. There is no crowing, no prolonged humiliation. The joke is allowed to land cleanly and then move on, leaving the audience to savor its implications. In the middle of the 1960s, when the American middle class was becoming newly conscious of international finance, floating currencies and the fragility of distant economies, the gluttony gag carried an extra layer of contemporary bite. Yet the series never lectures. It simply presents the absurdity and trusts the viewer to recognize the larger truth that paper wealth without substance is only so much stationery. When the king later deposits 2 suitcases of this same currency at the Commerce Bank, the comedy deepens into something almost philosophical. Mr. Drysdale, ever the bloodhound for deposits, accepts the luggage with the greedy enthusiasm of a man who believes he has finally cornered a genuine royal fortune. There must be $100,000 in each of these gay, he's got 3 million more. The numbers spoken in the transcript as figures but converted here as required. Into words roll off Raymond Bailey's tongue like a hymn. Then Miss Hathaway begins the exchange rate calculation, francs, guilders, glotnies. For a breathless moment it appears the bank has acquired nearly $1 billion. The footnote, however, is fatal. The favorable rate applies only during world paper shortages. The rest of the time the notes are absolutely worthless. I still remember the exact quality of silence that followed that line in my childhood living room. Even as a boy I understood that something larger than a bank balance had been punctured. Mr. Drysdale's face, that magnificent instrument of comic disappointment, falls in stages. First disbelief, then calculation, then the slow realization that he has been outmaneuvered by a man whose only remaining asset is charm and a borrowed coat. Oh, don't take it so hard, you're not out anything. Miss Hathaway consoles him, but the consolation is thin. The royal thief, as Drysdale now calls him, is upstairs at that very moment attempting to sweep Ellie Mae off her feet with promises of luxury the king himself cannot afford. What moves me most even now is the way the Clampetts themselves respond to the same information. When the suitcases are finally opened and found to contain nothing but paper napkins, but they're nice ones, Jed and Granny register the fact without bitterness. Well, tuck 'em in and let's eat, Granny says, and the practicality of the line is pure Irene Ryan. The family has been offered a fortune that turns out to be table linen, yet their hospitality never wavers. They have fed the king, lodged him, and listened to his tales of restored thrones. The discovery that his billions are napkins does not diminish the welcome already given. That quiet consistency is for me the moral heart of the entire series. I have returned to this sequence in every decade of my life and found new shades of meaning each time. In youth it was simply funny, the visual of a monarch reduced to napkin money, the banker's crestfallen arithmetic. In middle age it became a meditation on the difference between appearance and substance, a theme that has only grown more relevant. The king's grand pretensions are not mocked so much as gently exposed. He is allowed his dream of restoration. I shall remember your kindness when my people return me to the throne of Sabella, and the show never quite extinguishes the possibility that the dream might, against all evidence, still contain a spark of truth. That residual humanity keeps the character from becoming a pure figure of fun. Bergerac plays him with just enough wounded pride that we understand why the Drysdales are temporarily deceived and why the Clampetts, in their uncomplicated way, simply accept him as a guest who needs a place to rest. The cultural context of the mid-1960s deepens the resonance. America was then discovering both the glamour and the instability of international money. Swiss bank accounts had entered the popular imagination as symbols of mysterious wealth. Floating currencies and devaluations were becoming dinner-table topics. Against that backdrop, the gluttony joke feels almost prophetic. A currency so worthless it can be used as table linen is a perfect comic distillation of the era's growing unease with paper promises. Yet the Beverly Hillbillies never turns the observation into cynicism. The laughter remains affectionate, the satire gentle. The real wealth in the episode, the show insists, is not in the suitcases but in the open-handed welcome the Clampetts extend even to a man whose fortune has evaporated. I think often of Buddy Ebsen's quiet presence during these scenes. Jed rarely comments directly on the king's financial embarrassment. He simply continues to treat the visitor as company from home. That restraint is itself a form of commentary. In a decade increasingly fascinated by status and display, Jed's refusal to measure a man by his bank balance feels quietly radical. The same can be said of Granny's practical response to the napkins. She does not moralize. She simply folds the useless currency into the domestic routine and moves on to the next meal. Their reactions form a kind of counterpoint to Mr. Drysdale's frantic calculations and the king's fading grandeur. Looking back across the years, I realize that the gluttony sequence taught me something essential about the nature of comedy itself. The best jokes, the ones that stay with you for a lifetime, are those that reveal a truth without cruelty. The king is exposed, yet he is never destroyed. The banker is disappointed, yet he remains the same lovable schemer we have always known. The Clampetts absorb the information and continue being themselves. In that balance between revelation and kindness, between satire and affection, lies the enduring power of the series. Even now, when I hear the word gluttony, I see the yacht owner's sudden double take, the crumpled napkin held up to the light, the slow collapse of royal pretension into everyday paper. I hear Mr. Drysdale's crestfallen arithmetic and Miss Hathaway's dry footnote about world paper shortages. And somewhere underneath it all, I hear Granny's practical verdict: "They're nice napkins, tuck 'em in and let's eat." That single line contains more wisdom about the relative value of money and hospitality than many longer and louder sermons. It is why I keep returning to these episodes, why they still feel like home. In a world that continually invents new forms of worthless paper, the Clampetts remind us that the only currency that never devalues is the willingness to offer a stranger a chair and a meal, and to mean it. I have always believed that the true engine of the Beverly Hillbillies is not oil or cement ponds or even Granny's cooking, but the restless, almost feverish matchmaking that surrounds the Clampett fortune. Nowhere is that engine running hotter than in the stretch of episodes that bring King Alexander into the family circle. Watching it again after all these years, I feel the same mix of amusement and quiet recognition that I felt as a boy. The Drysdales do not simply want the king to meet Ellie Mae. They want a merger, a consolidation of royal legend and Clampett cash, a transaction dressed up as romance. And yet the show never lets the scheme become purely cynical. There is always a layer of human longing underneath the calculation, and that is what keeps me coming back. Mr. Drysdale is the first to articulate the dream out loud. Standing in his office, already half convinced that the king's billions are real, he speaks of Ellie Mae as if she were a strategic asset. What if the king and Ellie Mae were to fall in love and there was a merger? I believe you mean marry. The correction is pure Jane Hathaway, dry and precise, yet Drysdale barely notices. His mind is already racing ahead to the Rockefellers and the Rothschilds, to the day when the Commerce Bank will sit at the center of a new financial universe. Raymond Bailey plays these moments with a kind of comic hunger that still makes me smile. His eyes widen, his hands gesture as if he can already feel the weight of the combined fortunes. He is not a villain. He is a man so thoroughly shaped by the logic of deposits and interest that he cannot imagine a better future for Ellie Mae than one that also improves his own balance sheet. Mrs. Drysdale approaches the same project from a different angle. Where her husband sees numbers, she sees bloodlines and social elevation. She has already decided that King Alexander is one of the world's most eligible bachelors, worldly, handsome, witty, charming. The fact that those qualities mean nothing to Jed when he thinks about a lifetime companion for his daughter only sharpens the comedy. Look, those things don't count when we're talking about a lifetime companion for my sweet little Ellie. Jed's quiet insistence on character over credit is one of the moral anchors of the entire series. Buddy Ebsen delivers the line with that soft, unshakable conviction that always made me feel safer as a child. In a world that kept telling us money was everything, Jed kept reminding us that it was not. The arrival of Doreen, Mrs. Drysdale's niece, turns the matchmaking into a three-sided contest. Doreen has been summoned specifically to serve as the king's companion during his visit. She is recently divorced 7 times if the dialogue is to be believed, and she announces with cheerful frankness that she has never married royalty before unless you count the Pancake King. The line is tossed off lightly, yet it carries a surprising amount of pathos. Victoria Carroll plays Doreen with a bright, slightly brittle energy that suggests a woman who has learned to treat romance as a series of temporary arrangements. When she meets Jethro in his borrowed uniform and immediately decides he will do for a ride, the show lets us see both her hunger for attention and her capacity for quick, unreflective pleasure. I still remember how the competition between Ellie Mae and Doreen felt to me as a boy. Ellie Mae, of course, has no interest in crowns or protocol. When the king finally makes his formal offer, "I offer you a life of complete luxury. You will do no work. You will sleep till noon every day, you will lack for nothing." Her reply is instant and devastating: "I'm sorry, king, but it sounds just awful." Donna Douglas delivers the line with perfect wide-eyed sincerity. There is no calculation in it, no attempt to wound. She simply finds the proposed life unattractive. That single moment has stayed with me for decades. In an era that often portrayed young women as eager to be rescued by wealth and status, Ellie Mae quietly refused the rescue. She preferred the cement pond, the animals, and the freedom to be herself. The king's reaction to that refusal is one of the more revealing beats in the episode. He is genuinely baffled. "She can't refuse you, you're the king of Somalia." When Jed reports Ellie Mae's exact words that "don't cut no mustard with me," the gap between royal expectation and Clampett reality becomes almost physical. The phrase itself is pure hillbilly poetry, and I have never tired of hearing it. It reduces the entire apparatus of monarchy to something that fails to improve a sandwich. The show lets the line land without further comment, trusting the audience to feel both the comedy and the quiet dignity underneath. Mr. Drysdale, meanwhile, continues to work every angle. He has already told the king about the Clampett millions, carefully framing them as one of his smaller accounts, 70 million or so. The exaggeration is deliberate, a salesman's flourish designed to make the king lean forward. When the king later confesses that Ellie Mae's enthusiasm for marriage is roughly speaking none, Drysdale's disappointment is palpable, yet he does not give up. He suggests that the king needs to look more like a king crown cape uniform, anything that might impress a girl who has so far remained unimpressed. The advice is practical from Drysdale's point of view and completely tone-deaf from Ellie Mae's. Watching it, I always feel a surge of affection for the way the series protects its heroine. Ellie Mae is never required to change in order to become worthy of a title. The title is required to become worthy of her, and it fails. Doreen's pursuit of the king is more direct and more comic. She is ready to call him Bobo, ready to go for a ride, ready to treat the whole visit as an adventure. When she finally sees the real king in his full regalia and decides he looks like something out of the Big Blue Book of Fairy Tales, her retreat is swift and decisive. "Aunt Mag, I am going back to Boston." Jethro was bad enough, but this one. The line is delivered with the exasperation of a woman who has already collected enough unusual husbands. I have always found a surprising tenderness in that moment. Doreen is not cruel. She is simply finished with experiments that no longer amuse her. The show allows her that freedom without judgment. What I love most about this entire matchmaking swirl is how thoroughly it fails. The king does not marry Ellie Mae, he does not marry Doreen, he does not secure the Clampett fortune. He leaves with his suitcases full of napkins and his dreams of restoration still intact but no closer to reality. The Drysdales are left with nothing but the residual irritation of a scheme that collapsed under its own contradictions. And the Clampetts, as always, remain essentially unchanged. They have offered hospitality, declined a throne, and returned to their ordinary routines with the same steady grace. As a child, I laughed at the surface chaos, the competing women, the anxious banker, the king who kept adjusting his strategy. As an adult, I find myself moved by the deeper pattern. The series keeps staging these collisions between Beverly Hills ambition and Clampett contentment, and every time the contentment wins without ever having to fight. Ellie Mae does not argue against luxury, she simply finds it unappealing. Jed does not lecture the king about character. He simply states his requirements for a son-in-law and lets the facts speak. Granny does not moralize, she feeds people and observes. Their quiet resistance to the matchmaking mania is never framed as rebellion. It is simply who they are. I have carried that lesson with me for a lifetime. In culture that still sells romance as a form of upward mobility, the Beverly Hillbillies continues to offer a gentler alternative. Love in the Clampett world is not a merger. It is not a strategic alliance. It is the ordinary decision to share a life with someone whose company you prefer to any title. When Ellie Mae turns down the king, she is not rejecting wealth, she is choosing the life she already knows how to live. That choice still feels radical to me and still feels like home. The matchmaking mania of these episodes is finally less about the failure of the Drysdales' plans than about the quiet success of the Clampett heart. They welcome the king, they feed him, they listen to his stories, and then they let him go without trying to hold him or change him. In the end, that is the only kind of hospitality that matters. It asks for nothing in return except the chance to be itself. And that, more than any royal marriage or bank merger, is what has kept me loyal to this series through every decade of my life. I can still feel the exact mixture of delight and protective affection that rose in me the first time I watched Ellie Mae navigate the attentions of King Alexander. Even as a child, I understood that something rare was happening on the screen. Here was a young woman who did not need to be taught how to refuse a throne. She simply found the entire proposition unappealing and said so without anger or calculation. That clarity has stayed with me across every decade of my life. In the long catalogue of television courtships I have watched, few have felt as honest or as quietly revolutionary as the one that unfolds between Ellie Mae Clampett and the last of the big-time monarchs. The competition begins almost the moment Doreen arrives. Mrs. Drysdale has summoned her niece to serve as the king's companion, a role Doreen accepts with the cheerful pragmatism of a woman who has already collected 7 divorce settlements. She is ready for royalty. She has never married a king before unless you count the Pancake King, and she is perfectly willing to try. When she first encounters Jethro in his borrowed uniform, she is immediately interested. "Ain't nothing that turns a girl's head like a uniform," she declares, and the line still makes me smile with its perfect blend of frankness and folly. Victoria Carroll plays Doreen with a bright surface energy that never quite hides the weariness underneath. She is a woman who has learned to treat romance as a series of temporary experiments, and the series allows her that truth without judgment. Ellie Mae, by contrast, approaches the entire situation with the open-hearted simplicity that Donna Douglas made into an art form. When the king begins his formal courtship, he kisses her hand with continental flourish. Ellie Mae's response is pure Clampett practicality. "Why you always kissing hand, ain't you never hear the kissing on the lip?" The line is delivered with such genuine curiosity that the comedy becomes almost tender. She is not rejecting European manners. She is simply pointing out that they feel incomplete. When the king apologizes, she explains that Granny told her a first date kiss on the hand is proper if it is not a goodnight kiss. The explanation is so earnest that the king is left momentarily speechless. I have always loved that moment. It captures the gentle collision of two worlds without requiring either one to surrender its nature. The date itself is one of the purest expressions of Clampett hospitality and Clampett values I know. The king expects sports cars and sophisticated entertainment. What he receives is a ride in Jethro's truck and an invitation to go frog hunting. "I expected this truck and frog hunting tonight," he says with a mixture of disbelief and fading hope. Ellie Mae is unbothered. She is looking forward to the evening, and she advises him to wear old shoes. The exchange is brief, yet it contains an entire philosophy. Pleasure in the Clampett world is not purchased. It is found in the ordinary activities that already belong to the family. Frog hunting is not a joke at the king's expense. It is an honest offer of the kind of evening Ellie Mae herself enjoys. I still remember how that scene felt to me as a boy. There was something deeply reassuring in watching a young woman remain so completely herself in the presence of titles and expectations. Ellie Mae does not perform sophistication. She does not attempt to match the king's worldly charm with worldly charm of her own. She simply continues being Ellie Mae, and the world is invited to adjust. In the middle of the 1960s, when so many stories still measured a woman's success by the status of the man she attracted, that quiet refusal felt almost radical. It still does. The king's formal proposal is the emotional peak of the entire romantic strand. He offers a life of complete luxury. Only the nobility will speak to you. They will call you Your Majesty. Servants will wait on you hand and foot. You will drink vintage wine and eat gourmet food. You will do no work. You will sleep till noon every day. You will lack for nothing. Now say you accept. Ellie Mae's answer arrives without hesitation. "I'm sorry, King, but it sounds just awful. Donna Douglas delivers the line with perfect sincerity. There is no coyness, no strategic delay, no suggestion that she might be persuaded. The life he describes is simply not the life she wants. The refusal is so clean that it leaves the king genuinely baffled. She can't refuse you, you're the king of Somalia, he insists later. Jed's report of her exact words that don't cut no mustard with me becomes one of the great quiet triumphs of the series. The phrase reduces monarchy to a condiment that fails to improve a sandwich, and the reduction is both comic and strangely dignified. Doreen's parallel pursuit provides the perfect comic counterpoint. She is ready to call the king Bobo. She is ready to leave with him on the yacht. She is ready until she actually sees him in full regalia and decides he looks like something out of the big blue book of fairy tales. Her retreat is swift and decisive. Aunt Mag, I am going back to Boston. Jethro was bad enough, but this one. The line carries the exasperation of a woman who has reached the end of her patience for experiments. I have always found a surprising tenderness in Doreen's exit. She is not punished for her mercenary streak. She is simply allowed to leave when the adventure ceases to amuse her. The series treats her with the same relaxed generosity it extends to every visitor who passes through the Clampett orbit. What moves me most when I return to these scenes is the quality of hospitality the family offers both the king and Doreen. They are fed, they are given chairs, they are listened to, they are never required to become something other than what they are in order to deserve the welcome. When the king fails to eat Granny's groundhog goulash and baked buzzard eggs, the family discusses the matter with mild curiosity rather than offense. Maybe he just don't like rich food, Jed suggests. Granny is more suspicious, but even her suspicion remains practical rather than personal. The same open-handedness is extended to Doreen. She is included in the household rhythms without being asked to abandon her own restless nature. That consistency of welcome is for me the deepest expression of Clampett character. I think often of how these courtship scenes shaped my own understanding of what it means to remain true to oneself. Ellie Mae does not argue against luxury, she does not deliver speeches about the emptiness of titles, she simply prefers the life she already knows how to live, and she says so. In a culture that continues to sell romance as a form of upward mobility, her refusal still feels like a quiet act of freedom. The king is not a villain. He is a man trying to trade the last fragments of his legend for a secure future. Doreen is not a villain either. She is a woman who has learned to treat marriage as a series of short-term contracts. The series allows both of them their humanity while still centering Ellie Mae's clearer vision. Buddy Ebsen's Jed remains the steady moral presence throughout. He wants a good husband for his daughter, and he is not impressed by crowns or credit ratings. When he tells the king that certain qualities do not count in a lifetime companion, he is speaking from a place of deep paternal care. The line still carries the same weight for me that it did when I first heard it. Irene Ryan's Granny watches the entire romantic swirl with the sharp-eyed practicality that made her one of the great comic creations of the decade. She is ready to defend Ellie Mae and equally ready to feed whoever happens to be sitting at the table. Max Baer Jr. Schamar's Jethro provides the physical comedy and the occasional unexpected wisdom. His uniform may be ridiculous, but his willingness to treat the king as a potential friend is entirely genuine. Looking back across the years, I realize that the romantic strand of these episodes taught me something essential about the nature of hospitality itself. True hospitality does not require the guest to become worthy of the host. It simply offers what it has and allows the guest to take or leave it. Ellie Mae offers frog hunting and old shoes. The king offers a throne and servants, each remains free to decline. In the end, the king leaves with his napkins and his dreams. Doreen returns to Boston. Ellie Mae returns to the animals and the cement pond. Nothing has been forced and nothing has been lost. That gentle resolution still feels like home to me. In a world that often treats romance as a form of conquest or acquisition, the Beverly Hillbillies continues to offer a different model. Courtship in the Clampett world is simply the process of discovering whether two people prefer the same ordinary pleasures. When they do not, the refusal can be kind and the parting can be clean. I have carried that lesson with me for a lifetime, and I remain grateful to Ellie Mae for teaching it so clearly and so without pretension. I can still remember the exact moment the hippopotamus entered my childhood imagination and refused to leave. It was an ordinary afternoon viewing of the Beverly Hillbillies, and then suddenly Granny was peering over the hedge and declaring that Miss Drysdale had turned her backyard into a hog lot. The creature she described was big and fat and ugly with a mouth like a gator. Even as a boy, I knew something wonderful was about to unfold. The series had a special gift for taking the ordinary logic of the Clampett world and letting it collide with the unexpected, and the result was always a kind of pure delighted chaos. The Super Hog sequence remains one of the purest expressions of that gift. Granny's discovery begins with her characteristic blend of suspicion and practical interest. She has long complained about Miss Drysdale's objections to chickens and cows and goats. Now the tables appear to have turned. That spiteful woman has turned her backyard into a hog lot, Granny announces, and the line carries all the righteous satisfaction of a neighbor who has finally caught the other side in a comparable offense. Irene Ryan plays the moment with the full force of her comic authority. Her eyes narrow. Her voice sharpens. She is already calculating the size of the hams and the length of the sausage the animal might yield. When she gets a clearer look, she is almost reverent. That's a hog, biggest thing I ever did see. When you yell suey at that rascal, you better not stand twixt him and a trough. The rest of the family gathers and the debate begins in earnest. Ellie Mae is the first to express doubt. I don't think that's a big hog at all, she says, and the quiet certainty in Donna Douglas's voice already hints at the protective affection that will define her relationship with the animal. Jethro is more impressed by the sheer scale. Jed tries to keep the peace while also recognizing that Granny has set her heart on acquisition. The dialogue moves with the easy rhythm of people who have spent a lifetime discussing livestock. They speak of chicklins and pig knuckles and the amount of turnip greens required to season such a beast. They estimate weight and yield with the confidence of mountain people who have dressed out many a hog. The fact that the creature is actually a baby hippopotamus only deepens the comedy. The Clampetts are not stupid. They are simply applying the only frame of reference they possess, and the frame is sturdy enough to carry the entire episode. I have always loved how the series refuses to punish the family for their misidentification. There is no condescending laughter from the script itself. The humor arises from the collision of two accurate observations: the animal is indeed large and heavy and aquatic. Granny's conclusion that it must therefore be a hog is reasonable within the logic of the hills. Ellie Mae's later insistence that it is a hippopotamus is equally accurate within the logic of the wider world. The show lets both truths stand side by side and finds its comedy in the gap between them. Granny's determination to acquire the animal is pure Irene Ryan. She is already planning to send a ham to a friend in Lee's Summit, Missouri, because Missouri is the show-me state, and they have to see it to believe it. The line is tossed off with the practical generosity that defines so much of Granny's character. She is not hoarding the imagined wealth of meat. She is already thinking of how to share the proof of her good fortune. When she learns that Mrs. Drysdale is out of town and the maid knows nothing about the creature, her resolve hardens. Somebody's got to look after him, she declares. He's wasting away to skin and bones. The concern is genuine, even if the diagnosis is spectacularly wrong. In Granny's mind, a hog that large must be fed and cared for, and if the rightful owners are absent, then the responsibility falls to the nearest capable hands. Jed's response is the quiet counterweight that keeps the comedy grounded. He wants to wait and speak to Mr. Drysdale properly. He understands that simply leading the animal through the hedge would create more trouble than it solves. Buddy Ebsen plays these moments with the patient authority that always made me trust Jed completely. He never dismisses Granny's enthusiasm. He simply insists on doing the thing the right way. That balance between impulse and restraint is one of the deepest strengths of the series, and it is on full display here. Ellie Mae's growing attachment to the creature adds the emotional heart of the sequence. She does not see a future supply of bacon and sausage, she sees a living being that needs water and company and protection. When she later tries to take the animal to the zoo because he ain't no hog, the conflict between her compassion and Granny's practical plans becomes the central tension. Donna Douglas plays the protectiveness with such open sincerity that the audience is never invited to laugh at Ellie Mae's soft heart. We are invited to share it. In a decade that often treated animals as either pests or products, the series quietly insisted that a child's affection for a strange creature was worthy of respect. Jethro, of course, sees opportunity. He begins taking orders for hickory smoked meat on commission, and the arithmetic of his imagined profits becomes a comic subplot of its own. 5% of $200 worth of orders is calculated with the solemn concentration of a boy who has just discovered the magic of percentages. Max Bear Jr. makes the moment both ridiculous and oddly endearing. Jethro is not greedy in any mean sense. He is simply excited by the possibility of turning the family's good fortune into personal success, and he pursues the idea with the same wholehearted energy he brings to every new scheme. Looking back, I realize how much of my own early sense of wonder was shaped by scenes like this one. The Beverly Hillbillies had a special ability to take a single misunderstood object or animal and build an entire world of comedy and character around it. The hippopotamus is never just a hippopotamus. It becomes a mirror that reflects Granny's practicality, Ellie Mae's tenderness, Jethro's ambition, and Jed's steady fairness. Each family member sees a different animal, and each vision is treated with respect, even when it is spectacularly incorrect. The cultural context of the middle 1960s deepens the pleasure. Americans were becoming more aware of exotic animals through zoos and television nature programs. The idea of a baby hippopotamus turning up in a Beverly Hills backyard carried a special charge of the unexpected. At the same time, the series remained rooted in the livestock knowledge of the rural South and Midwest. The collision of those two frames of reference produced a comedy that felt both timely and timeless. I watched it as a child and felt the delight of recognition. I watch it now and feel the deeper delight of understanding how carefully the show balanced affection for its characters with affection for the audience's intelligence. Granny's ongoing campaign to claim the animal leads her into some of the richest physical and verbal comedy of the entire run. She tries to convince Mr. Drysdale that the creature is dying of the epizootic. His bristles have all fell out and his tail has come unkinked, she reports with clinical seriousness. He looks big and fat, but that's because he's a windsucker all bloat. The diagnosis is delivered with such conviction that even Mr. Drysdale is momentarily thrown. Raymond Bailey's reaction is a master class in comic bewilderment. He knows the animal is a hippopotamus, yet Granny's confidence is so complete that he almost begins to doubt his own eyes. The exchange remains one of my favorite examples of how the series could take a single misunderstanding and keep finding new comic angles without ever repeating itself. I think often of how these scenes taught me to value the particular logic of people whose experience differs from my own. Granny is not foolish. She is applying a lifetime of knowledge about hogs to a creature that only resembles a hog in the most general way. The series never asks us to feel superior to her. It asks us to enjoy the gap between her knowledge and the reality while still respecting the knowledge itself. That generous stance is one of the reasons the show has remained a source of comfort across so many years of my life. By the time the family has fully committed to the idea of the super hog, the emotional stakes are already higher than a simple livestock transaction. Granny sees a chance to create the Daisy Moses Memorial Ham, a gift that will be talked about for years. Ellie Mae sees a living creature that has somehow become her responsibility. Jethro sees a business opportunity. Jed sees a situation that needs careful handling if the family's good relations with the Drysdales are to survive. Each perspective is valid within its own frame, and the comedy arises from the way those frames refuse to align. I have returned to this sequence more times than I can count, and every time I find myself smiling at the same details. The way Granny peers over the hedge. The solemn discussion of pig knuckles and chitlins. The quiet determination in Ellie Mae's voice when she insists the animal is not a hog. The careful patience in Jed's attempts to slow the rush toward ownership. These moments have become part of my inner landscape, as familiar and as welcome as the sound of an old screen door closing on a summer evening. They remind me that the best comedy does not diminish its characters. It reveals them more fully and invites us to love what is revealed. The super hog is finally not about the animal at all. It is about the way a family sees the world and the way the world occasionally refuses to match that vision. In the gap between the two, the series finds a comedy that is both raucous and deeply affectionate. I am still grateful for every minute of it. I can still remember the exact moment the hippopotamus entered my childhood imagination and refused to leave. It was an ordinary afternoon viewing of the Beverly Hillbillies, and then suddenly Granny was peering over the hedge and declaring that Miss Drysdale had turned her backyard into a hog lot. The creature she described was big and fat and ugly with a mouth like a gator. Even as a boy, I knew something wonderful was about to unfold. The series had a special gift for taking the ordinary logic of the Clampett world and letting it collide with the unexpected, and the result was always a kind of pure delighted chaos. The Super Hog sequence remains one of the purest expressions of that gift. Granny's discovery begins with her characteristic blend of suspicion and practical interest. She has long complained about Miss Drysdale's objections to chickens and cows and goats. Now the tables appear to have turned. That spiteful woman has turned her backyard into a hog lot, Granny announces, and the line carries all the righteous satisfaction of a neighbor who has finally caught the other side in a comparable offense. Irene Ryan plays the moment with the full force of her comic authority. Her eyes narrow, her voice sharpens. She is already calculating the size of the hams and the length of the sausage the animal might yield. When she gets a clearer look, she is almost reverent. That's a hog, biggest thing I ever did see. When you yell suey at that rascal, you better not stand twixt him and a trough. The rest of the family gathers and the debate begins in earnest. Ellie Mae is the first to express doubt. I don't think that's a big hog at all, she says, and the quiet certainty in Donna Douglas's voice already hints at the protective affection that will define her relationship with the animal. Jethro is more impressed by the sheer scale. Jed tries to keep the peace while also recognizing that Granny has set her heart on acquisition. The dialogue moves with the easy rhythm of people who have spent a lifetime discussing livestock. They speak of chicklins and pig knuckles and the amount of turnip greens required to season such a beast. They estimate weight and yield with the confidence of mountain people who have dressed out many a hog. The fact that the creature is actually a baby hippopotamus only deepens the comedy. The Clampetts are not stupid. They are simply applying the only frame of reference they possess, and the frame is sturdy enough to carry the entire episode. I have always loved how the series refuses to punish the family for their misidentification. There is no condescending laughter from the script itself. The humor arises from the collision of two accurate observations. The animal is indeed large and heavy and aquatic. Granny's conclusion that it must therefore be a hog is reasonable within the logic of the hills. Ellie Mae's later insistence that it is a hippopotamus is equally accurate within the logic of the wider world. The show lets both truths stand side by side and finds its comedy in the gap between them. Granny's determination to acquire the animal is pure Irene Ryan. She is already planning to send a ham to a friend in Lee's Summit, Missouri, because Missouri is the show-me state and they have to see it to believe it. The line is tossed off with the practical generosity that defines so much of Granny's character. She is not hoarding the imagined wealth of meat. She is already thinking of how to share the proof of her good fortune. When she learns that Mrs. Drysdale is out of town and the maid knows nothing about the creature, her resolve hardens. Somebody's got to look after him, she declares. He's wasting away to skin and bones. The concern is genuine even if the diagnosis is spectacularly wrong. In Granny's mind, a hog that large must be fed and cared for, and if the rightful owners are absent, then the responsibility falls to the nearest capable hands. Jed's response is the quiet counterweight that keeps the comedy grounded. He wants to wait and speak to Mr. Drysdale properly. He understands that simply leading the animal through the hedge would create more trouble than it solves. Buddy Ebsen plays these moments with the patient authority that always made me trust Jed completely. He never dismisses Granny's enthusiasm, he simply insists on doing the thing the right way. That balance between impulse and restraint is one of the deepest strengths of the series, and it is on full display here. Ellie Mae's growing attachment to the creature adds the emotional heart of the sequence. She does not see a future supply of bacon and sausage, she sees a living being that needs water and company and protection. When she later tries to take the animal to the zoo because he ain't no hog, the conflict between her compassion and Granny's practical plans becomes the central tension. Donna Douglas plays the protectiveness with such open sincerity that the audience is never invited to laugh at Ellie Mae's soft heart. We are invited to share it. In a decade that often treated animals as either pests or products, the series quietly insisted that a child's affection for a strange creature was worthy of respect. Jethro, of course, sees opportunity. He begins taking orders for hickory smoked meat on commission, and the arithmetic of his imagined profits becomes a comic subplot of its own. 5% of $200 worth of orders is calculated with the solemn concentration of a boy who has just discovered the magic of percentages. Max Bear Jr. makes the moment both ridiculous and oddly endearing. Jethro is not greedy in any mean sense. He is simply excited by the possibility of turning the family's good fortune into personal success, and he pursues the idea with the same wholehearted energy he brings to every new scheme. Looking back, I realize how much of my own early sense of wonder was shaped by scenes like this one. The Beverly Hillbillies had a special ability to take a single misunderstood object or animal and build an entire world of comedy and character around it. The hippopotamus is never just a hippopotamus. It becomes a mirror that reflects Granny's practicality, Ellie Mae's tenderness, Jethro's ambition, and Jed's steady fairness. Each family member sees a different animal, and each vision is treated with respect even when it is spectacularly incorrect. The cultural context of the middle 1960s deepens the pleasure. Americans were becoming more aware of exotic animals through zoos and television nature programs. The idea of a baby hippopotamus turning up in a Beverly Hills backyard carried a special charge of the unexpected. At the same time, the series remained rooted in the livestock knowledge of the rural South and Midwest. The collision of those two frames of reference produced a comedy that felt both timely and timeless. I watched it as a child and felt the delight of recognition. I watch it now and feel the deeper delight of understanding how carefully the show balanced affection for its characters with affection for the audience's intelligence. Granny's ongoing campaign to claim the animal leads her into some of the richest physical and verbal comedy of the entire run. She tries to convince Mr. Drysdale that the creature is dying of the epizootic. His bristles have all fell out and his tail has come unkinked, she reports with clinical seriousness. He looks big and fat, but that's because he's a windsucker all bloat. The diagnosis is delivered with such conviction that even Mr. Drysdale is momentarily thrown. Raymond Bailey's reaction is a masterclass in comic bewilderment. He knows the animal is a hippopotamus, yet Granny's confidence is so complete that he almost begins to doubt his own eyes. The exchange remains one of my favorite examples of how the series could take a single misunderstanding and keep finding new comic angles without ever repeating itself. I think often of how these scenes taught me to value the particular logic of people whose experience differs from my own. Granny is not foolish. She is applying a lifetime of knowledge about hogs to a creature that only resembles a hog in the most general way. The series never asks us to feel superior to her. It asks us to enjoy the gap between her knowledge and the reality while still respecting the knowledge itself. That generous stance is one of the reasons the show has remained a source of comfort across so many years of my life. By the time the family has fully committed to the idea of the super hog, the emotional stakes are already higher than a simple livestock transaction. Granny sees a chance to create the Daisy Moses Memorial Ham, a gift that will be talked about for years. Ellie Mae sees a living creature that has somehow become her responsibility. Jethro sees a business opportunity. Jed sees a situation that needs careful handling if the family's good relations with the Drysdales are to survive. Each perspective is valid within its own frame, and the comedy arises from the way those frames refuse to align. I have returned to this sequence more times than I can count, and every time I find myself smiling at the same details. The way Granny peers over the hedge, the solemn discussion of pig knuckles and chicklins, the quiet determination in Ellie Mae's voice when she insists the animal is not a hog, the careful patience in Jed's attempts to slow the rush toward ownership. These moments have become part of my inner landscape, as familiar and as welcome as the sound of an old screen door closing on a summer evening. They remind me that the best comedy does not diminish its characters. It reveals them more fully and invites us to love what is revealed. The super hog is finally not about the animal at all. It is about the way a family sees the world and the way the world occasionally refuses to match that vision. In the gap between the two, the series finds a comedy that is both raucous and deeply affectionate. I am still grateful for every minute of it. I can still hear the exact tone of triumphant concentration in Jethro's voice as he calculated his commission on the imaginary meat. 5 knots is not 5 knots is not 5 knots is not, and so on until the arithmetic produced the glorious sum of $1,000. Even as a boy I understood that the numbers were pure fantasy, yet I also understood that the excitement was completely real. Max Baer Jr. played those moments with such earnest delight that the audience was never invited to feel superior to the mistake. We were invited to share the pleasure of a young man who had just discovered that selling could be more profitable than butchering and who intended to ride that discovery as far as it would take him. Jethro's meat-selling scheme begins the moment Granny's determination to acquire the super hog becomes clear. He goes around the neighborhood taking orders for hickory smoked ham and bacon and chops and ribs. You name it, I got it, he announces with the confidence of a born salesman. The fact that the animal is still living next door and has not yet been purchased, much less butchered, does not slow him down. In Jethro's mind, the sale is the important part. The delivery can be arranged later. That cheerful reversal of ordinary business logic is pure Beverly Hillbillies comedy, and it still makes me smile with recognition every time I return to it. The calculation scene remains one of my favorite examples of the show's gentle handling of Jethro's particular intelligence. He works the percentages out loud with the solemn care of a student who has just learned a new skill and wants to demonstrate it perfectly. $200 worth of orders. 5% commission. The knots and dots of his homemade arithmetic lead him to the conclusion that he has already made $1,000. When Ellie Mae points out the obvious problem that you cannot get $200 worth of bacon from a hippopotamus, Jethro's response is pure practical denial. It might be a hippopotamus now, but it's coming out of that sausage grinder, a hog. The line is delivered with such conviction that the comedy becomes almost philosophical. Jethro is not refusing the facts. He is simply insisting that the facts can be processed into a more useful form. Ellie Mae's opposing campaign to protect the animal gives the sequence its emotional weight. She does not care about commissions or market prices. She has decided that the creature is not a hog, and therefore not available for turning into sausage. When she tries to lead it away to the zoo, the conflict with both Granny and Jethro becomes direct. Donna Douglas plays the protectiveness with open sincerity. There is no cuteness in her stance. There is only the clear moral position of a young woman who has formed an attachment and intends to honor it. The series never undercuts that attachment. It allows Ellie Mae's compassion to stand as a legitimate force in the story, even while the comic machinery of the meat-selling scheme continues to turn. I have always been moved by the way the show balances these two energies. Jethro's entrepreneurial excitement is never treated as pure greed. It is the excitement of a young man who has found a way to participate in the family's good fortune and who wants to prove that he can contribute. Ellie Mae's protectiveness is never treated as pure sentimentality. It is the steady insistence that some living things are not available for conversion into profit. Jed mediates between them with the quiet fairness that defined Buddy Ebsen's performance throughout the series. He understands both positions and he refuses to dismiss either one. The physical comedy of trying to manage the animal while these arguments continue is sustained with perfect timing. Ellie Mae wants to give it water and keep it safe. Granny wants to fatten it up for the eventual butchering. Jethro wants to make sure his customers receive the meat they have ordered. The animal itself remains largely indifferent to all three agendas, which only deepens the comedy. It is a baby hippopotamus that has somehow become the center of a three-way family negotiation about the nature of ownership and care and commerce. The series trusts the audience to hold all of those layers in mind at once. Looking back, I realize how much of my own early understanding of conflicting goods was shaped by scenes like these. The Beverly Hillbillies rarely presented simple right and wrong. It presented people who wanted different things for understandable reasons and then let the comedy arise from the collision. Jethro wants success and recognition. Ellie Mae wants to protect a creature that has no other protector. Granny wants to practice the skills of provisioning that have defined her entire life. Each desire is legitimate within its own frame. The show does not choose a winner so much as it allows the tension to generate laughter and recognition. Jethro's continued sales after the animal's true nature has been named only heighten the absurdity. He has already told customers that the meat is coming. When they begin to ask for delivery dates, he is forced into ever more creative delays. Quick as Granny butchers that big hog becomes a kind of comic refrain. The more the reality of the hippopotamus asserts itself, the more elaborate Jethro's justifications become. Max Bear Jr. never loses the thread of the character's fundamental good nature. Even at his most financially imaginative, Jethro remains the same eager, well-meaning young man who wants to help the family and also help himself. Ellie Mae's determination reaches its peak when she tries to remove the animal from the property entirely. She is taking him to the zoo because he ain't no hog. The simple declarative sentence contains an entire moral universe. In Ellie Mae's world, the correct identification of a creature determines the correct treatment of that creature. A hog may be butchered. A hippopotamus may not. The clarity of that position is one of the reasons I have always loved the character. She does not need complex arguments. She simply sees what is in front of her and acts accordingly. The cultural context of the middle 1960s adds another layer of pleasure. Americans were becoming more aware of the difference between domestic livestock and exotic animals. Zoos were expanding, nature programs were appearing on television. At the same time, large parts of the country still lived with the practical reality of raising animals for food. The Super Hog sequence sits precisely at the intersection of those two awarenesses. Jethro's salesmanship belongs to the commercial energy of the decade. Ellie Mae's protectiveness belongs to a growing sense that some animals exist outside the food chain. The series holds both energies without forcing a simple resolution. I think often of how these scenes taught me to value the particular forms of intelligence that do not look like conventional smarts. Jethro's arithmetic is wildly wrong, yet his understanding of sales is instinctive and sound. He knows that the money is in the selling rather than the butchering, and that insight is genuinely shrewd. Ellie Mae's refusal to accept the animal as meat is not based on book learning. It is based on direct observation and emotional clarity. Both forms of knowing are treated with respect. The comedy arises from their collision rather than from any contempt for either one. By the time the commission scheme and the protection campaign have fully intertwined, the emotional stakes have risen far beyond a simple disagreement about an animal. Jethro has made promises to customers. Ellie Mae has made a promise to herself. Granny has made a promise to the memory of every hog she has ever processed. Jed is left to hold the center as best he can. The series never rushes the resolution. It allows the confusion to breathe and to generate new comic complications, and in that patience it reveals a deep confidence in its audience. I have returned to this sequence across every decade of my life, and every time I find myself smiling at the same details. The solemn concentration of Jethro's arithmetic, the quiet firmness of Ellie Mae's refusal, the practical determination of Granny's plans, the careful mediation of Jed's responses. These moments have become part of my inner landscape, as familiar and as welcome as the sound of an old radio playing in another room. They remind me that the best comedy does not resolve every tension. Sometimes, it simply lets the tensions stand side by side and trusts the audience to feel the full human comedy of people who want different good things at the same time. The commission and the confusion are finally not about meat or money, or even the hippopotamus. They are about the way a family negotiates its conflicting loves and the way those negotiations can produce laughter without producing winners and losers. Jethro's scheme fails in the most literal sense. Ellie Mae's protection succeeds only temporarily, yet both characters remain fully themselves and fully loved by the story that contains them. That generous outcome is one of the reasons I have never stopped returning to these episodes, and one of the reasons they continue to feel like home. I can still see the exact expression on Raymond Bailey's face when Mr. Drysdale first explained his plan to turn a baby hippopotamus into a walking advertisement for the Commerce Bank. There was a particular light in his eyes that mixed pure financial inspiration with complete blindness to every practical and ethical objection. Even as a boy, I recognized that light. It was the same light that appeared whenever Mr. Drysdale believed he had found a new way to make the Clampett money work harder for the bank. The zoo animal advertising scheme remains one of the purest expressions of that particular form of comic ambition, and I have never tired of returning to it. The idea begins with the hippopotamus itself. Mr. Drysdale has acquired the animal through the foreclosure of a stranded circus, and he is determined to extract value from the investment. Painting bank messages on the creature seems to him a stroke of marketing genius. Kids do not read enough these days, he declares. Turning a baby hippopotamus into a signboard is therefore both educational and promotional. The messages are painted in ordinary water paint so they can be changed every few days. Save your pennies in a pig or save them in a cup, but bring them to the Commerce Bank or I will eat you up. The rhyme is delivered with the proud satisfaction of a man who believes he has created something both memorable and useful. Miss Hathaway's reaction is the perfect counterweight. Nancy Culp plays the secretary's horror with dry precision. The whole idea is thoroughly reprehensible, she tells him, and the word reprehensible lands with the full force of her moral and professional standards. Yet Mr. Drysdale is undeterred. He is entitled to get something for his money. The fact that the money was obtained by foreclosing on a circus only strengthens his sense of ownership. In his mind, the animal is an asset, and assets exist to be put to work. I have always loved how the series handles the collision between Drysdale's commercial imagination and the quieter values of everyone around him. The zoo director rejects the painted hippopotamus without hesitation. Bank commercials on animals are not educational. Nursery rhymes rewritten to promote 5% interest are not suitable for children. Mr. Drysdale's response is pure injured innocence. Did you ever hear of the buffalo nickel, he demands. What about the eagle on the quarter? The comparison is so perfectly Drysdale that it still makes me smile. He is not being cynical. He genuinely believes that if currency can carry national symbols, then a hippopotamus can carry the Commerce Bank logo. The nursery rhyme variations he invents are among the funniest verbal constructions in the entire run of the series. Peter Pumpkin Eater had a wife and couldn't keep her, got a loan from Uncle Milby, now they always happy will be. Little Miss Muffet sat on a tuffet, figuring her interest rate, along came a spider, and sat down beside her and said, hey, this Commerce Bank is great. Each rewrite is delivered with the enthusiasm of a man who has found a new creative outlet. Raymond Bailey invests the lines with such sincere pride that the audience is invited to enjoy the absurdity without having to despise the character. Mr. Drysdale is ridiculous, yet he is never mean. His ambition is so complete that it becomes a kind of innocence. When the hippopotamus is rejected, he immediately pivots to the baby elephant that the circus owner is trying to unload. The same logic applies. A nickel dropped into my trunk hole, draw 5% from sweet old uncle. The image of children feeding coins into an elephant's trunk while absorbing lessons about compound interest is pure Drysdale fantasy, and the series lets it bloom in all its glory before Miss Hathaway and the zoo director shut it down. Again. The pattern is consistent. Mr. Drysdale dreams. Reality refuses. He dreams again. The emotional core of the sequence for me has always been the way the show balances affection for Mr. Drysdale's energy with a clear-eyed view of its limits. He is not a villain. He is a man whose entire moral universe is organized around deposits and interest and the belief that every asset should produce a return. When the zoo refuses his painted animals, he feels genuinely wronged. He has tried to do something nice for the children and to educate them at the same time. The fact that the education consists of bank advertising does not strike him as a contradiction. In his mind, the two goals are naturally aligned. I think often of how these scenes taught me to recognize the particular comedy of people who cannot see the gap between their intentions and their effects. Mr. Drysdale wants to delight children and promote the bank. He cannot understand why painting commercial messages on living animals might undermine both goals at once. The series never lectures him. It simply allows the gap to generate comedy and then moves on to the next complication. That restraint is one of the reasons the character remains so enduringly watchable. We laugh at his schemes, yet we never stop caring about the man who invents them. The cultural texture of the middle 1960s deepens every beat. Advertising was becoming more aggressive and more inventive. Companies were discovering the power of characters and mascots and jingles. At the same time, a growing awareness of animal welfare and the educational mission of zoos was beginning to shape public opinion. Mr. Drysdale's painted hippopotamus sits precisely at the intersection of those two forces. His commercial imagination belongs to the rising energy of the advertising age. The zoo's refusal belongs to a quieter insistence that some spaces should remain free of commercial messages. The series holds both energies without forcing a simple moral victory for either side. Miss Hathaway's ongoing resistance provides the necessary friction. She is loyal to Mr. Drysdale, yet she is not blind. She tries to redirect his enthusiasm. She points out the ethical problems. She absorbs his disappointment when the schemes fail. Nancy Kolb plays the role with such precise comic timing that the relationship between secretary and employer becomes one of the great quiet partnerships of the series. She cannot stop him from dreaming, yet she can usually stop the dreams from causing permanent damage. When the baby hippopotamus and the baby elephant are finally destined for the children's zoo together, the resolution feels both inevitable and satisfying. Mr. Drysdale is forced to accept that some assets cannot be made to advertise. The animals will simply be animals. The children will simply enjoy them. The bank will have to find other ways to grow its deposits. The acceptance is reluctant, yet it is real, and in that reluctance Raymond Bailey finds some of his richest comic notes. Looking back across the years, I realize that Mr. Drysdale's advertising ambitions taught me something essential about the nature of comic character itself. The best comic figures are not those who fail because they are foolish. They are those who fail because their particular form of intelligence is complete and consistent and therefore blind to everything outside its own logic. Mr. Drysdale's commercial mind is a marvel of focus. It can turn a hippopotamus into a billboard and a nursery rhyme into a sales pitch and an elephant's trunk into a coin slot. The fact that the world refuses to cooperate does not diminish the focus, it simply renders it comic. I have returned to these scenes more times than I can count, and every time I find myself smiling at the same details. The proud recitation of the rewritten nursery rhymes, the injured comparison to the buffalo nickel, the determined attempt to paint a new message every few days. The quiet exasperation of Miss Hathaway as she tries to manage the fallout. These moments have become part of my inner landscape, as familiar and as welcome as the sound of an old adding machine in a quiet office. They remind me that the best comedy does not despise ambition. It simply watches ambition run into the limits of the world and finds the collision endlessly entertaining. The bank commercials and the zoo animals are finally not about advertising at all. They are about the way a certain kind of mind sees every living thing as a potential asset and the way the rest of the world gently yet firmly refuses to agree. Mr. Drysdale never fully accepts the refusal, yet he continues to live and scheme and dream inside it. That persistence is both his comedy and his strange form of dignity. I remain grateful for every overreaching minute of it. I can still taste the remembered sweetness of Granny's spring tonic, even though I have never once sipped the actual formula. The mere sight of Irene Ryan standing in the lobby of the Commerce Bank with a crock of homemade medicine was enough to convince my childhood self that something both wonderful and dangerous was about to be unleashed. The sequence remains one of the purest explosions of Clampett logic into the ordered world of Beverly Hills finance, and I have never stopped returning to it with the same mixture of delight and gratitude. Granny arrives at the bank with the firm intention of doing good. The folks at the Commerce Bank are the family's best friends in town, and therefore they deserve the benefit of her finest spring tonic. The tonic is a traditional mountain remedy designed to thin the blood and lift the spirits after a long winter. In Granny's hands, it becomes an act of neighborly care. She has no interest in medical licenses or professional protocols. She has a crock of medicine and a room full of people who look as if they could use it. Irene Ryan plays the determination with the full force of her comic authority. She is not asking permission, she is offering a gift, and she expects it to be received in the same practical spirit in which it is given. Jed's quiet intervention is the moral and comic hinge of the entire sequence. He has already seen what the real tonic did to Bessie the chimpanzee, and he has no intention of letting the same chaos overtake the bank. While Granny is distracted, he switches the crocs. The liquid she believes to be her powerful spring tonic is actually her own homemade root beer. The switch is performed with the gentle efficiency that defined Buddy Ebsen's performance throughout the series. Jed does not confront Granny directly. He simply protects the bank from the full force of her medicine while still allowing her the satisfaction of giving. That quiet kindness remains one of the deepest expressions of his character and one of the reasons I have always trusted him completely. The distribution itself is pure physical and verbal comedy. Granny lines the employees up and begins ladling out the root beer with the solemnity of a healer. The bank workers approach with a mixture of fear and resignation. They remember previous encounters with Granny's remedies. One man recalls straining his back trying to carry his wife across the threshold after a previous dose. Another is openly terrified, yet the root beer produces no dramatic effects and the workers are left in the peculiar position of having to pretend that something is happening. "I think I'm feeling it," one woman declares with hopeful uncertainty. "Kick up your heels," Granny encourages, and the resulting attempt at lively movement is both awkward and endearing. I still remember how hard I laughed at the gap between expectation and reality. The employees believe they are drinking a powerful mountain tonic. They are actually drinking root beer. Their polite attempts to manufacture the expected symptoms become a kind of improvised performance, and the series lets the performance run long enough for the comedy to deepen. Miss Hathaway watches with the dry apprehension that Nancy Culp perfected. Mr. Drysdale is caught between loyalty to the Clampetts and terror of what Granny's medicine might do to his staff. The entire lobby becomes a stage on which the collision of two medical traditions is played out in real time. Dr. Roy Kleiber's arrival raises the stakes. He has been trying for years to stop Granny from practicing medicine without a license, and he believes he has finally caught her in the act. When he demands a dose so that he can serve as a witness, the root beer is ladled into him with professional courtesy. His subsequent behavior is pure comic acceleration. The tonic he believes he has drunk is powerful enough to send him flying out of the office in a state of high excitement. The fact that he has actually consumed root beer only makes his reaction more wonderful. He is performing the effects he expects to feel, and the performance is completely sincere. The cultural texture of the middle 1960s adds weight to every beat. Traditional folk remedies were still widely used in many parts of the country even as professional medicine was consolidating its authority. Granny's spring tonic sits precisely at the intersection of those two worlds. Her confidence in the formula is absolute. Dr. Kleiber's determination to suppress it is equally absolute. The series does not choose a simple winner. It simply allows the collision to generate chaos and then watches the chaos with affectionate attention. Bessie, the chimpanzee, provides the perfect parallel plot. The real tonic has left her with a powerful crush on Jethro, and she will not leave him alone. Max Baer Jr. plays the resulting discomfort with the physical comedy that was one of his great strengths. He wants nothing to do with the amorous ape, yet he is too soft-hearted to drive her away forcefully. The image of Jethro trying to conduct ordinary business while a chimpanzee declares her affections remains one of the enduring visual pleasures of the sequence. Even the root beer switch cannot completely undo the effects of the earlier genuine dose. I have always been moved by the way the show balances affection for Granny's generosity with a clear-eyed view of its consequences. She wants to help. Her help is powerful enough to disrupt an entire bank and to send a licensed physician into comic orbit. Jed's switch of the Crocs is an act of love that protects both the bank and Granny herself from the full consequences of her good intentions. The series never punishes her for those intentions. It simply allows the gap between intention and effect to produce laughter and recognition. Looking back, I realize that the spring tonic sequence taught me something essential about the nature of care itself. Granny's medicine is an expression of belonging. The people at the bank are her friends, and friends receive the best of what she has to give. The fact that her best can be dangerous does not diminish the generosity. It simply requires the quieter intervention of someone like Jed, who understands both the generosity and the danger. That balance between impulse and restraint, between giving and protecting, remains one of the moral centers of the entire series. The aftermath of the distribution is as rich as the event itself. Dr. Kleiber is now more determined than ever to stop Granny's unlicensed practice. Mr. Drysdale is left to manage a staff that has been politely pretending to feel the effects of root beer. Granny is satisfied that she has done good work. Jed keeps the secret of the switched Crocs, and in that secrecy, he preserves the peace of the household. Each character remains fully themselves, and the comedy arises from the way their separate realities refuse to align. I think often of how these scenes shaped my own understanding of the difference between intention and impact. Granny intends only kindness. The impact of her kindness is a lobby full of confused bank employees and a physician in comic distress. The series does not resolve the tension by making Granny more careful or the bank more receptive. It simply lets the tension stand and trusts the audience to feel the full human comedy of people who are trying to do right by one another and somehow creating chaos instead. The root beer itself becomes a quiet hero of the sequence. It looks enough like the real tonic to fool everyone. It tastes pleasant enough to be accepted without complaint. It produces none of the dramatic effects that would have turned the bank into a genuine medical emergency. In its mildness, it allows the comedy to remain light even while the characters believe they are dealing with something far more powerful. That gentle deception is pure Jed Clampett, and it remains one of the kindest practical jokes in the history of the series. By the time the tonic has been distributed and the immediate chaos has begun to settle, the emotional landscape of the episode has been permanently enriched. Granny has expressed her care in the only language she fully trusts. Jed has protected the wider world from the full force of that care. The bank has survived an invasion of mountain medicine. Dr. Kleiber has gained new ammunition for his ongoing campaign, and the audience has been given one of the most sustained and affectionate comic sequences the series ever produced. I have returned to this stretch of the story across every decade of my life, and every time I find myself smiling at the same details. The solemn ladling of root beer into paper cups, the polite attempts of the bank workers to manufacture symptoms, the sudden flight of Dr. Kleiber after his professional courtesy dose, the ongoing romantic difficulties of Jethro and Bessie. These moments have become part of my inner landscape, as familiar and as welcome as the sound of an old screen door closing at the end of a long afternoon. They remind me that the best comedy does not diminish the desire to help. It simply watches that desire run into the limits of the world and finds the collision endlessly and affectionately entertaining. The spring tonic at the Commerce Bank is finally not about medicine at all. It is about the way a certain kind of generous heart moves through the world and the way the world has to adjust itself around that movement. Granny never stops believing in the power of her tonic. The rest of the characters never stop trying to manage the consequences. In the space between belief and management, the series finds a comedy that is both raucous and deeply kind. I remain grateful for every complicated and hilarious minute of it. I can still feel the exact mixture of amusement and protective loyalty that rose in me whenever Dr. Roy Kleiber squared off against Granny. Even as a boy, I understood that the conflict was larger than one unlicensed healer and one frustrated physician. It was a collision between two entire ways of understanding what it means to care for the sick. Granny's medicine came from the hills and from a lifetime of practical necessity. Dr. Kleiber's medicine came from training and equipment and the growing authority of the professional class. The series never declared a simple winner. It simply allowed the two systems to occupy the same rooms and then watched the comedy and the quiet humanity that resulted. Dr. Kleiber has been trying for years to stop Granny from practicing medicine without a license. The spring tonic episode gives him what he believes is the perfect opportunity. He catches her distributing her remedy in the bank, and he is determined to use the moment as evidence. When he later learns that the tonic was actually root beer, he is only momentarily slowed. Fraud, he declares, is another charge he can add to the list. The determination in his voice is real. He sees Granny as a danger to the public and to the dignity of his profession. The series allows that conviction to stand without turning him into a pure villain. He is a man trying to protect the standards he was trained to uphold. Mr. Drysdale's attempts to mediate are pure comic desperation. He needs Granny's goodwill because she controls access to the Clampett fortune. He also needs Dr. Kleiber's goodwill because the physician is a respected figure in Beverly Hills. The result is a series of negotiations that grow more elaborate and more absurd with every exchange. When Dr. Kleiber threatens legal action, Mr. Drysdale climbs onto a metaphorical ledge and threatens to create ugly headlines. The physical comedy of the moment is matched by the verbal inventiveness. Raymond Bailey plays the banker's panic with the full commitment that made the character so enduring. He is willing to look ridiculous if looking ridiculous will keep the peace between his two most difficult relationships. Granny's invitation to visit the doctor's office is one of the richest sequences in the entire medical rivalry. She arrives dressed in her best and carrying a doctoring bag that contains vanilla extract and a roast chicken and a homemade pumpkin pie. The bag itself is a perfect expression of her dual identity. She is a healer and she is also a woman who understands that food is a form of care. Irene Ryan plays the arrival with a mixture of professional pride and personal hope. She has begun to believe that Dr. Kleiber's sudden interest might contain a romantic element, and she is prepared to meet that possibility with the same practical energy she brings to every other task. The office scenes are a masterclass in colliding worldviews. Dr. Kleiber tries to impress Granny with his equipment. He shows her the electrocardiograph and explains that a complete physical examination cannot be performed without one. Granny's response is pure mountain practicality. She notes the cost and then observes that there is no patient present on whom to use the machine. The gap between the doctor's pride in his tools and the empty waiting room is both comic and quietly sad. The series allows us to feel both the comedy and the sadness without forcing a simple judgment. When a patient finally arrives, the collision becomes direct. Mrs. de Longpre is a hypochondriac of the highest social standing. Dr. Kleiber has described her as the worst kind of hypochondriac, and Granny overhears the description. Her subsequent treatment of the patient is pure unlicensed healing at its most confident. She diagnoses the tight corset and the small shoes and the idle hands. She prescribes hard work and walking and the cutting of corset stays. The advice is delivered with the absolute certainty of a woman who has never doubted the connection between physical labor and physical health. The patient leaves in a rage and Dr. Kleiber is left to contemplate the loss of his last remaining client. I have always been moved by the complexity of that moment. Granny's advice is both ridiculous in the context of Beverly Hills society and oddly sensible in the context of basic human health. The tight corset and the idle life are real problems even if the language of the diagnosis belongs to another century. Dr. Kleiber's professional despair is equally real. He has invested years in training and equipment, and the gradual erosion of his practice is a genuine sorrow. The series holds both realities at once and trusts the audience to feel the full weight of the collision. The chicken and the pie become unexpected comic weapons. Granny has brought them as gifts and possibly as demonstrations of her domestic skill. When Dr. Kleiber is too distressed to eat, she presses the food on him with the same determination she once used to press tonic on the bank employees. The image of a licensed physician being force-fed mountain cooking while his practice collapses around him is pure Beverly Hillbillies invention. Irene Ryan never softens the determination. She is going to care for this man in the only language of care she fully trusts, and the fact that he does not want the care only strengthens her resolve. Looking back, I realize that the medical rivalry taught me something essential about the nature of professional authority itself. Dr. Kleiber's training is real. His equipment is modern, his concern for standards is sincere. Yet the empty waiting room and the fleeing patient reveal the limits of that authority when it is not matched by the ability to connect with the people who need help. Granny's methods are unlicensed and often alarming, yet they come wrapped in a confidence and a personal attention that the professional system has begun to lose. The series does not ask us to choose one over the other, it asks us to notice the strengths and the blind spots of both. The cultural context of the middle 1960s deepens every exchange. Professional medicine was consolidating its power and folk practice was being pushed further to the margins. At the same time, many people still carried the memory of home remedies and the practical healers who had served their communities before the rise of the modern clinic. Granny stands as a living representative of that earlier tradition. Dr. Kleiber stands as a representative of the new order. Their rivalry is therefore larger than a personal conflict. It is a comic enactment of a cultural transition that was still incomplete. Mr. Drysdale's ongoing attempts to keep both parties from destroying each other provide the necessary comic blue. He needs Granny's favor, and he needs the doctor's respectability. The result is a series of compromises and desperate measures that grow more inventive with every crisis. When he finally persuades Dr. Kleber to allow Granny to observe modern medicine, the agreement is less a meeting of minds than a temporary ceasefire. Both parties remain convinced of their own rightness. The series allows that mutual conviction to stand and finds its comedy in the space between them. I think often of how these scenes shaped my own understanding of the difference between knowledge and wisdom. Dr. Kleber possesses knowledge. He can name the machines and the procedures and the professional standards. Granny possesses a form of wisdom that comes from long experience with the stubborn realities of human bodies and human stubbornness. Neither possession is complete. The comedy arises from the way each character mistakes their partial understanding for the whole of the truth. By the time the office visit has ended in the departure of the last patient and the quiet despair of the physician, the emotional landscape of the rivalry has been permanently enriched. Granny has expressed her care in the language she knows. Dr. Kleber has seen the limits of the language he was trained to speak. Mr. Drysdale has once again managed to keep the two forces from open war. And the audience has been given one of the most sustained and affectionate examinations of professional and folk authority the series ever produced. I have returned to these scenes across every decade of my life, and every time I find myself smiling at the same details. The proud display of the electrocardiograph in an empty room, the solemn diagnosis of the tight corset, the determined offering of chicken and pie to a man too distressed to eat. The quiet panic of Mr. Drysdale as he tries to hold the center, these moments have become part of my inner landscape, as familiar and as welcome as the sound of an old medical bag being set down on a wooden table. They remind me that the best comedy does not resolve every tension between old ways and new ways. Sometimes it simply lets the tension stand and trusts the audience to feel the full human comedy of people who are trying to help and somehow getting in each other's way. The practice of medicine in these episodes is finally not about licenses or equipment or even the patients. It is about the way two forms of care move through the world and the way the world has to make room for both of them. Granny never stops believing in the power of her methods. Dr. Kleber never stops believing in the authority of his training. In the space between those two beliefs, the series finds a comedy that is both raucous and deeply kind. I remain grateful for every complicated and hilarious minute of it. I can still see the exact moment Granny stepped in front of the camera and began to sell Dr. Roy Kleiber to the people of Beverly Hills. Even as a boy, I understood that something both wonderful and dangerous was being set in motion. The woman who had spent her life practicing unlicensed medicine in the hills was now using the most modern of tools to promote a licensed physician who wanted nothing more than to see her stop. The irony was so complete, and so affectionate, that it remains one of my favorite turns in the entire series. The commercial itself is pure Granny. She stands before the camera with the same practical confidence she once brought to the distribution of spring tonic, and she proceeds to explain the virtues of Dr. Kleiber in the only language she fully trusts. He is one of the first-class physicians in Beverly Hills. He is the healer with a heart. She offers before and after evidence in the form of a man who was run down and feeling poorly and who was later restored. All of the Dickens are satisfied customers, she declares, and the line still makes me smile with its perfect mixture of sincerity and salesmanship. Then comes the special offer. The first 50 folks who come to the office will receive a dose of her own spring tonic. The combination of professional medicine and mountain remedy is so complete that it becomes a kind of comic poetry. Dr. Kleiber's reaction to the commercial is pure panic. He is a member of the medical board. Advertising is beneath the dignity of the profession. Once the commercial has aired, he believes he will never have another patient. The despair in his voice is real. He has spent years building a practice on the foundation of professional standards, and now those standards have been publicly abandoned in his name. The series allows us to feel the weight of that despair without turning it into pure mockery. Dr. Kleiber is ridiculous in his rigid adherence to protocol, yet his fear of professional ruin is recognizably human. Mr. Drysdale's role in the aftermath is once again the role of the desperate mediator. He needs both parties to remain functional. He needs Granny's goodwill and he needs the doctor's respectability. When Dr. Kleiber threatens consequences, Mr. Drysdale is forced into ever more creative forms of damage control. The physical and verbal comedy of those attempts remains as sharp today as it was when I first watched it. Raymond Bailey plays the banker's panic with the full commitment that made the character so enduring. He is willing to look absurd if looking absurd will keep the fragile piece intact. The unexpected result of the commercial is one of the gentlest and most satisfying turns in the entire medical storyline. Mrs. de Longpre, the hypochondriac who fled the office in rage after Granny's earlier diagnosis, returns with a completely different attitude. She has taken the advice about the tight corset and the idle hands. She has walked home. She has scrubbed floors. She has slept like a baby. She has liberated herself from the girdle and she is wearing practical shoes. The transformation is presented without irony. Granny's unlicensed advice has produced a genuine improvement in the life of a woman who had been failed by more conventional approaches. I have always been moved by the quiet power of that moment. The series does not claim that Granny's methods are superior in every case. It simply allows one clear success to stand as evidence that care can take unexpected forms. Mrs. de Longpre is not cured of every imaginary illness, she is simply better than she was and she is prepared to tell the rest of Beverly Hills about the firm approach that helped her. The endorsement is so complete that Dr. Kleiber is left in the peculiar position of having to accept credit for a recovery he tried to prevent. The cultural texture of the middle 1960s deepens every beat. Television advertising was becoming a dominant force in American life. Physicians were still largely prohibited from advertising by professional codes that valued dignity over promotion. At the same time, many people continued to trust the practical advice of healers who operated outside those codes. Granny's commercial sits precisely at the intersection of those forces. She uses the newest medium to promote an older form of care, and in doing so, she creates a comic crisis that the professional system is not equipped to handle. Looking back, I realize that the advertising sequence taught me something essential about the nature of authority itself. Dr. Kleiber's authority rests on training and equipment and the approval of his peers. Granny's authority rests on results and on the personal confidence with which she delivers her care. When the two forms of authority are forced into the same commercial, the result is both chaotic and strangely productive. The professional system is embarrassed. The unlicensed healer is momentarily triumphant, and one patient is genuinely helped. Jed's quiet presence throughout the crisis remains the moral center of the story. He does not take sides in the medical rivalry. He simply continues to treat both Granny and Dr. Kleiber as people who are trying to do right according to their own lights. Buddy Ebsen plays that neutrality with the gentle strength that defined the character. He is not indifferent. He is simply unwilling to let the conflict destroy the human relationships that matter more than any professional victory. Jethro's parallel difficulties with Bessie the chimpanzee provide the necessary comic counterpoint. The effects of the earlier tonic have not completely worn off and the ape's romantic attachment continues to disrupt the ordinary rhythms of the household. Max Baer Jr. plays the ongoing discomfort with the physical precision that was one of his great gifts. The image of Jethro trying to maintain dignity while a chimpanzee declares her affections remains one of the enduring visual pleasures of the sequence. I think often of how these scenes shape my own understanding of the difference between dignity and effectiveness. Dr. Kleiber is deeply concerned with the dignity of his profession. Granny is deeply concerned with whether the patient feels better. The series does not dismiss the concern for dignity. It simply allows the concern for effectiveness to produce a result that the professional system could not achieve on its own. The tension between those two values remains unresolved, and in that lack of resolution the comedy finds its deepest resonance. By the time the commercial has aired and the unexpected patient has returned, the emotional landscape of the medical storyline has been permanently altered. Granny has used the tools of modern advertising to promote a form of care the modern system rejects. Dr. Kleiber has been forced to confront the possibility that his methods are not the only ones that can produce results. Mr. Drysdale has once again managed to keep the two forces from destroying each other, and the audience has been given one of the most satisfying comic reversals the series ever produced. I have returned to this stretch of the story across every decade of my life, and every time I find myself smiling at the same details. The solemn delivery of the before and after claims, the special offer of spring tonic to the first 50 patients, the panic of a physician who believes his professional life is over, the quiet satisfaction of a woman who has taken practical advice and found that it worked. These moments have become part of my inner landscape, as familiar and as welcome as the sound of an old television set warming up in a quiet room. They remind me that the best comedy does not resolve every conflict between old ways and new ways. Sometimes it simply lets the conflict produce an unexpected kindness and trusts the audience to feel the full human pleasure of that kindness. The advertising of the healer is finally not about commercials or patients or even the rivalry between Granny and Dr. Kleiber. It is about the way care can take forms that the official systems do not recognize, and the way those forms can still produce genuine good. Granny never stops believing in the power of her methods. Dr. Kleiber never fully accepts that belief. In the space between them, the series finds a comedy that is both raucous and deeply generous. I remain grateful for every complicated and unexpected minute of it.